計測を行い、それを点数化するシステム DOS によって運営されています。その特徴は振り出しのスピードを正確に測っていることです。このようにゆっくりと振り出すよりもパキーンと鋭く振り出す方が高得点です。また安定した角度が求められる区間では角度の安定性を計測しています。このようにマシンがフラフラすると減点です。審判長の設定したスタイルに基づき理想の走りを100点としてその走りに近づけられるか、それが勝負の分かれ目となります。今回の大会では1セクター振り、2セクター安定性、3セクター振り、4セクター安定性、5セクター振りで計測を行います。それ以外の J 区間は審判がジャッジします。それ以外で重要になるのは指定ポイントの通過です。指定のゾーンを通らないと2点から1点の減点となります。このゾーン判定は DOS ではなく審判員によって行います。審判の判断でリプレイ映像検証が行われることもあります。計測された点数はこの表によって表されます。左からゾーン不通過、コースアウト、ジャッジ減点、セクターごとの計測点数を表しています。例えばここが赤く表示された場合、第1、第2でゾーン不通過、第4セクターでコースアウトがあったということになります。また振り出しの失敗やドリフトが戻ったなどの判定はこのジャッジエリアの部分が赤く表示されます。それ以外のいろいろなペナルティは下の段に表示されますので、その場合は審判から説明があります。すべての点数を合計したものがこの黄色の大きな文字として表示されます。そして右上の数字が現在の暫定順位です。またDOSエラーがあった際には審判員が順位をつけ、その結果が全体順位に反映されます。さあ振りの速さに注目して D1 グランプリのパキーンと鋭いドリフトをお楽しみください。
All right, everyone, welcome. It's Sunday morning here in Japan. We're about to start the qualifying for round 2 of the 2020. It says round 1 on my sheet. Someone didn't change it. Is that the right sheet? Did they give me the right sheet? Let me double check. Yes, it is Sunday's one. Just someone didn't change it at the top. Hello, thank you for joining us here. Now, everyone who is on the option channel watching this live stream, if you look in chat, there is a link to a different channel. If you don't mind, I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's a free country. But if you don't mind, can you head on over to that channel? It's actually the Noriero channel to watch qualifying.
嬉しいことにそうですね。ここは東京なのであんまりそこをこう言いづらいところが正直あるんです。
I know it's an odd request. Just the option people are sort of looking into how do I say it? Different ways of doing the stream. Basically to pump those numbers up. Yesterday we did the battles on the Noriero channel instead. Today we're doing qualifying. So chat, do us a favor. If you're in the option channel, come on over to the Noriero channel. The link is in chat. Now, for those of you in the Noriero chat, hello, good morning, welcome.
それによって不公平が生じない、路面の不公平が生じないためにグループごとに
So let me tell you what is going on today. Man, my voice sounds so bad.
追走に進出すると。でもそのグループごとに実はDOSの中には係数、ウェット係数っていうのがあって1から10まであるんですよね。
Happens every time as soon as I have to do a big broadcasting thing. I get what's it called? Bronchitis or something. I don't know. Power through it though. It's going to be a full day of drifting from Okuibuki. Now the way we're actually doing it today, you can see there on the screen on the big part of the screen.
90キロでも10点つく。
We have on the far right
80
Manapi.
キロでも10点つく。っていう
When
のは
it comes to
ウェットケー
announcers,
スがどんどん大きくなるにつれて、車速が落ちてきたり、
honestly,
例えば角度、
he's the guy you always hear screaming on the option
何度
videos.
までついたら何点っていうところが
He's an
ちょっ
announcing
とずつこう甘くなっていく
god. He does no warm up,
ウェットケースですね。
nothing,
はい
just goes in, raw, starts screaming, and then that's it.
はい
That's all he has to do. He's a born commentator.
はい
And
ある程
definitely
度イコ
made
ールな点数になるだろう。
D1 Grand Prix a
もちろんそこプ
lot,
ラス
a lot more exciting back in the day
グループ
when
ご
we were all
と
getting
に
into it,
上位
into
4名
drifting.
が抽出されると。
Long time
はい  今
ago.
だったらこの
Of course, in the
台数が
whoa.
全部で
Of course, in the middle of the screen we have Kamimoto, our chief judge, and some of the other assistant judges there. I think one of them was Kuniaki or Kuni, former D1 Grand Prix driver. Actually, Kumamoto is also a former D1 Grand Prix driver.
かけますよ。はい。
さあということで、なので今回は8グループに
はい
分かれて、
はい
で各グループの上位2台 2×8 は16台
はい
ということで、この後予選が行われるんですが、今ちょうど皆さんにですね映像をご覧いただいてますが、これ現地としてはかなり微妙じゃないですか。
あ
あんまり降ってない感じ、
降ってないんですけど、カメラにたまに雨粒がついてるんですよね。だから多分ドライバーとすれば、
はい、
もうお願い降るなら降ってって
そう
いう
ですね。
感
Excuse me.
じと、あとは、
はい
やっぱり昨日までドライだったじゃないですか。で
ー
もう多分木曜日から練習走行があったり、
はい
でライツがあったりで台数もすごい台数走ってるんですよ。で表面がラバーがノリノリなんですよね。
So all those guys are over there in Okuibuki, which is down in Shiga Prix. Just ignore that.
すごくてもう多分本当にこれがドライだったら今日はグリップもすごい上がってていい路面だと思うん
The
ですけど
track is down in Okuibuki in Shiga Prefecture. It's sort of between
はいもう何もできない
Kyoto
ぐらい
and
ドラ
Osaka
イバーとすれば
or Osaka.
こんなスピードで行って止まるはずなのに止まらなかったっていうのがもう
Next to an enormous lake. I guess I don't know if it's enormous compared to some of the lakes around the world, but it's a nice big lake.
はい
Nice part of the world. Part of Japan where there was a lot of hills, a lot of valleys. A very famous battle, historical battle, the Battle of Sekigahara.
本当に我々の中でも長いモータースポーツの中で、雨の降り出しが一番難しいです
そう
よ
ですね
ね。
はい
なので今回今から予選走る皆さんは一番難しい状況の中で、
はい
And the track we're using is
その路面状況に対して
はい
アジャスト
kind of talking it down, but we do get some good driving here. This is a car park of a ski resort up in the mountains. Now, the surface we saw yesterday, it did vary slightly. It varies a lot depending on the weather and depending on the sunlight, and also, of course, if it starts to rain or not. It does get quite slow in the rain, and due to the fact it is a car park, the surface material is slightly different to a regular racetrack. We do get dry lines forming very quickly,
そういうものを全部ウェットで
so
見
it
極める
can be quite
ですから実は
challenging
このウェットの走りっていうのは
for the drivers
ドライバーの本質
by the
という
fact
か
that the surface does
いろん
change
なものが
quite rapidly here
私は
at Okuibuki, which is sort of what they're talking about in the background
雨の
there.
中見るのはちょっと本当に嫌ですけど
The course itself, using every single inch
もうこのウェットが一番です
of the car park, we're actually the start line is a separate level. It starts at the upper car park, goes down a ramp, turns right, and that's where the judge section starts. There's one big long sweeper, a tightening sweeper along a concrete wall where there is a zone that they need to hit,
マニアックに
then a short connector into another tighter hairpin,
さあというわけでですね
and then a quick chicane and over the finish line.
今マニアックという話
So what we're doing here today
やはりそのこの
is qualifying will be starting very shortly. Also on screen, the Japanese commentators,
っていう方々がいらっしゃ
Mr.
います
Ebisu Circuit, the boss of Ebisu Circuit, Kumakubo on the left, also a former D1 Grand Prix driver and two-time champion.
そして、まあ、
And on the right of the screen, Katsumata, who also drifted a lot back in the day, but he also works as a professional announcer, MC, and things like that. Actually, I asked him yesterday, what cars did you have back in the day? And he just started going. He's like, oh, well, first I bought an R33, and I put an RB26 in it, and then I bought an S14, and then I bought an R32 Skyline, and then I bought a JZX, and then I bought another JZX, and I've been driving JZXs since then. Oh, it was a different world back then, in the 90s and 2000s in Japan when it came to drifting.
皆さんにはこの走行音、やっぱりドリフトといえば音とね、煙なんですけれども、
So with that all said, Kumakubo and Katamata aren't at the venue, and neither am I. We're trying a few different things this time, or at least I didn't decide it. The video option people decided what to do. We are in the D1 Grand Prix offices in Shinjuku, Tokyo. I have a lovely view from the 36th floor, I think it is, over central Tokyo in a nice air-conditioned office. It's quite nice. Honestly, I would rather be at the venue. It's a lot more fun to experience it and feel it and see it. IRL, can walk around, talk to the crews, get information, things like that. But that said, it only took me, a short amount of time to get here this morning, rather than driving 6 hours to Okuibuki and back. So we are due to start fairly shortly, off stream, or at least off the Noriaro stream. We had the driver's introduction. Full field. I think today entries, excluding people who have dropped out, I think we have 30. What is that? 28.
ミレニアム5。
あ、そうそうそう。
ミレニアム5の若手の
36
イケメンがいますんで、ぜひですね、ちょっとこう昨年とは違った形で解説、今ちょうど出ましたね、ミレニアム5。
Depends on, I don't know, there may have been some other drivers who don't make it out. Between 36 to 38 entries here for all competing for the top 16 position in battles later on today. So, schedule right now, time here is just bang on 10 a.m. in Japan, which is when we're due to start the solo runs now. So that should be starting fairly soon. And then later on today, we won't actually be doing the top 16 battles on this channel. We'll be doing it on the option channel, video option channel. They have an English stream, which is what you're watching right now, and the Japanese stream over there. I'll spam the link before I end stream here, so you know which channel to go to. You can just open that in a tab or something like that and leave it there until the battle starts, which is going to be 2 o'clock. So that's 4 hours from now. 4 hours from now is when the top 16 will be starting. My apologies to all the North American viewers. I know it's late, but stick around. We saw some great battles yesterday, the final in yesterday's competition. Pretty good battles between Naoki Nakamura and Daigo Saito. I mean, if you know drifting, you know who they are. So the top 4 was Naoki Nakamura, Hibino, Daigo Saito, and Yokoi. So all the heavy hitters there in the top 16, right at the top. But qualifying is where you get to see the drivers that you like or want to see guaranteed. And that means today, Mad Mike Wedette, any Kiwis out there who are watching, he didn't make it into the top 16 yesterday. We'll be able to see him here in qualifying. So first group heading out, we're starting qualifying very shortly. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be starting the qualifying momentarily.
でも D1 グランプリって、昨日のベスト4もそうですけど、やっぱりベテランが常に上にいるんですよ。そうですね。若手がポンと来てなかなか勝てない理由ってのは、熊久保さんとしてはどういうところにあるんですか？やっぱりそのドリフトってやっぱ経験値がもうものを言うので、先ほども言いましたけど路面の変化だったりいろんなものがあるので、多分その辺がドリフトの場合はやはりであと実際その勝負する時間が短いですから、その体力っていう面でかなりレースとかと違って、いいとこ1分かかる30秒ぐらいの勝負ですから、で考えると、年を取っても体力的なその差はそんなに生まれないのがドリフトだと思うんですよね。さあというわけでここからまずは A グループです ですね、A グループがコースにしてきましたが、やはりこれドライですよね。
はい、ドライですね。
僕もずっと話しながらこうコース見てましたけど、やっぱり結構微妙。だからこれウェット係数出ます？あ、でもウェット係数低くすればいいんですもんね。
そうですね。ただこれもしかしたらウェット係数は出ないのかもしれないです、ね。
ただもうグループ分けは8グループに分かれてますけれども、ただ全体でやればいいんですもんね。
そうですね。だから今のところはウェット係数なしのこの煙の出方と、ウォーミングアップの走りを見ると、今のところはドライっていう扱いだと思います。
そうですよね。ただウェット係数は出ないけど、あくまで予選の方式としては各グループから2名ずつが上がってくるって、そこに関しては変更はないんですかね。
どうなんですかね。もしかしたら
So first group heading out right now. These are the first few drivers, Group A1. Each of these drivers gets 2 solo runs. Best single score is the one that counts. And then the top 16 scoring drivers move through to the top 16.
振らなければそのままドライの点数でいきます。
途中で変わってしまって、ただ今アクリルウィンドウ窓には雨粒がついてますよね。さあというわけで先ほど皆様にね申し上げた通り非常に難しい路面状況の中でメクワ幸次郎がまず1本目ということになっています。
この時点でウェット係数の表示が出ないので今はドライの、さ
あドライバーとしては嫌ですよね。
Our first driver of the day, former D1 Lights champion, now in D1 Grand Prix, Kojiro Mekawa, the BMW 2JZ. First qualifying run. Now I'll explain the course in the next run. I'm just making a post on social media about qualifying. 1 second.
よくこんな元気よくいったなっていう。
本当ですね。さあこれが
角度もいいですし、この後の2セクのこの辺がすごいところ通りましたよね。で2ゾーンに向けてのラインもなるべく最短距離でいったので、点数はいいと思います。でここ3から4のつなぎの部分、ここ結構3から4のつなぎで1回車が止まるドライバーが多いんですけど、ここも止まらず綺麗に角度を変えずに4セクに入ったので、全体的に多分ポイントはもう98点台ぐらいの点が出るんじゃないかなと思うぐらいいい走りですよね。
ただウェット係数がなしで、単純に路面がやっぱり98.3点出ましたね。ちょっと全体のその平均速度っていう面では、路面が滑りやすいとね、点数が伸びてこないかなと思うんですけど、さあ続いて茂木武史の登場です。さあ茂木選手はどうでしょうか。1本目メクワ選手の走り。
Right, second driver now, Takeshi Mogi, S15 Sylvia 2JZ. By the way, yes, I can see chat. Hello. You're all there. I can see you.
ただやはりこの茂木選手もいい走りになってきました。さすが2日目になってくると皆さんしっかりと
大体ね、コースの攻略ができるし、やっぱり昨日見てますからね。
そうですね。
ドライバーの走りを。
なんかゴルフのプロツアーみたいにサンデーバックナインって言われますけどね。皆さん経験が積まれれば積まれるほどどんどんいいプレーになってきますが。
茂木選手もよりもいい走りになってますね。やっぱりいいんですけど、このやっぱ3から4のここのつなぎの部分、3の振り返して4に入るところ、やっぱ角度がちょっとやっぱ足りないかなっていうところがあるので。
さあ 96.2 点ということですね。そして今現地からの情報、現状ドライウェットケース入ってないですね。
There we go. Alright, so the course here, let's watch it being run by Mitsuru Murakami. So down the short ramp, a short right, a short straight. Beginning of the course here, the entry, outer zone along the wall, the tyre needs to go through that zone. Inner clip, that zone, the tyre needs to go through the zone. Through a short connector, big flick, another outer zone. Little chicane and over the finish line. So this is the course we have here. And a top-down shot from the drone. Great view from the drone. Easy, really easy to see. It's a reducing radius course. Cars are doing, I think, about 100 kilometers an hour, which is, what's that, about 50-something, 52 miles an hour. Now, the course is all split up into sectors. You can see there on the score, each sector. It's weighted differently, so some parts of the course are worth more points than others. Basically, the bigger and faster the part of the course is, the more it's worth. Now, D1 Grand Prix judged by a computerized judging system called DOS. Now, DOS is a small system installed on all of the cars, just like the Haichu 180 entry of Sumika Kubukawa here. Our only lady driver in today's competition. Now the DOS system broadcasts the car's slip angle, speed, position, back to a central computer, goes through a scoring algorithm which is different for each track, and it spits out scores like you just saw. So how do you get a good score in D1 Grand Prix? Well, everybody has a different way of thinking about it. There's some drivers out there, one of which is Yokoi, who he just seems to have a very good understanding of how to drive to make DOS happy. Okay, so zone 1, so Sumika missing zone 1, so remember the tyre has to go through. Tyre has to go, last year it was the bodywork only, this year it's the tyre, they will get a penalty. Oh, speaking of Yokoi, here he is. So how do you get points in D1 Grand Prix? Well, the DOS likes to see angle flicking to that angle. So if you drive in a straight line, all of a sudden, whap, go like 90 degrees across the track, DOS, and then hold that angle cleanly. DOS really likes that. It also likes you going really fast and at big angle at the same time. And that's what drifting is really. Nothing too different to a human judge. Japanese, they call it ante. It's the stability of a car in drift. When you see a car flick like that, now watch the steering wheel. It's making small corrections. Not really anything more than about a 90-degree turn of the wheel. No huge corrections. If the car sits at that angle all the way around, that's going to rack up those points. And a 97.9 for Yokoi. And each of them get 2 solo runs. So if a run looks clean, it'll probably score well. If a car flicks the angle really hard and keeps its speed and keeps that angle, it'll probably score well. And when it comes to the top 16 battles later on today, similar story for the lead car. The lead car needs to do a similar run to the qualifying. Chase car has a few different rules applied to it, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. This is Mekua's second run. So don't forget, on that far left of screen there next to that outer zone, that is a concrete wall. And I'm not talking about a movable barrier or K-rails or anything like that. It is a concrete wall. Saw a couple of collisions with it yesterday. Okay, Mekua 98.0. So going by yesterday's results, high 97 will probably be the cutoff. So 98 or 99s would be great if you can get them. We had one 100 score yesterday, and it was, of course, Naoki Nakamura. Oh, and an understeer there from Takeshi Mogi. So I was talking before about how to get the best score out of the judging here. Well, each of the drivers do have access to the data for their runs. It sort of comes out in this big spreadsheet looking file that they can get and look at. So there you go, Sector 4, that was the bottom of the course, the smaller hairpin. So a wheel off there.
三竹市は 89.8 という点数でした。さあ、村上充。
Alright, next run, Mitsuru Murakami, the tennis ball is what chat named it yesterday. 2JZ.
そうですね、抑え気味に無理をしないでいこうよということでしょうか。
Right, not too bad here from Murakami.
そうですね。アクセルワークでも分かりますよね、合わせてですよね。4セクなんかもしっかり角度つけたら踏み切りになりますもんね。さあ、まずはこの上空からの映像です。
逆に最大角度を無理しないことによって車が安定するので、意外に点数はこう平均的に伸びてくる可能性が。ここの3から4のつなぎはさっきは
solo runs make the accelerator work kind of easy to hear.
なるほど。
意外に点数は伸びていくかもしれない。
A lot of the drivers have kind of different styles. Some like to come on and off the accelerator a lot more than others. Spin the wheels up, let them slow down a bit. Spin them up, let them slow down a bit. That can be a good way to get forward traction depending on your setup. Some drivers are a bit smoother. And there you go, a 99.7 Murakami. Great score. That's a pretty much guaranteed entry into the top 16 going by yesterday's results. Murakami struggling for a while in his previous car in S15. It's brand new build. Well, it's not brand new, but newer build. Seems to be doing good for him. Right, second run now, Kubokawa. Oh, that may be a miss there on that zone. Remember, the tyre needs to go through, not the bodywork like the rules said last year.
86ほどじゃないですけど、そんなに止まることもなく、角度もついた状態でうまく3から4をつないだと思うんですよね。そうですね。ここの2のゾーンもいいですけど、ちょっとこの2ゾーンの普通化が取られるかもしれないですね。でここもいい角度で入ってきて、そうですね。はい。
Top down drone shot comes in very handy when we get to the top 16. It's really easy to see the movement and motion of the cars from that angle.
昔からずっと知っているから何とも思いませんけど、これ普通に考えたらハイチュウのメインスポンサーをもらって走ってる女性ですからね。
そうなんですよ。はい。うちにいた頃ね、こんなスポンサー取ってくる。
Do you all know what Haichu is? They have Haichu in the USA, don't they?
そうですね。はい。本当素晴らしいことだと思います。やっぱりね、こう車業界じゃないスポンサーをつけるってやっぱすごくこの業界。
I like watermelon flavor.
いや世界的に有名なこのハイチュウを引っ提げて、さあ久保川さん。
Ah, she did miss that zone there. No. Sumika, bottom rank there, 95.6, and that's pretty much guaranteed out. That's her weekend done.
横井正史選手の登場です。攻めておかないと、今この4人の中で3位。
I got a bag of them right here. That's good to hear. All right, next run, Yokoi. Look at the window of that car, that little quarter window. Nothing but gold stickers. This car is like Mr. T. It's gold dripping. And on that side too. This car's won a lot. So Yokoi, for any of the sort of purist style drivers out there who like traditional style drift cars, Yokoi is your man. No hydraulic handbrake, just the regular cable handbrake. And one of Yokoi's team strategies is they try and use a lot of standard parts if they can. Yokoi said it's easier to accumulate a lot of spare parts and find things if you use as many stock parts as possible. So the engine, the 2JZ, it still has, you know, all the usual. It doesn't have electric power steering or anything like that. It's all fairly orthodox. Okay, score there, 97.9 for Yokoi. Now the weather in Tokyo, where I am, just cloudy, but in Shiga and Okuibuki, potential of rain. We did see a little bit of rain before. Now when the rain falls, the DOS scoring system does change. it has a variable for how slippery the surface is or the wet condition. We'll see what's going to happen there. So that's our first 5 drivers, Group A1. If you're wondering, by the way, if you just joined us, if there's any Kiwis or someone out there who'd like to see your boy Mad Mike, he is in Group C2. So we still have some time until the RX-8 wagon comes out.
横井としては確かに、まずは本当に雨を降らないでくれって願うしかないですね。さあ、この後出てくるのが斉藤大吾選手。
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean no power steering. I meant no electric power steering. Thank you for the correction.
加納選手でも昨日予選
そうクラッシュ。
Yeah, speaking of that, we did have about 3 cars yesterday that had fuel pump issues.
ドライであれば彼は今日もいい点を出してくる可能性があるので、多分
I think at least one of them was the result of a relay.
ベテランが3人で昨日いい得点を出している加納選手がいるので、
Not sure about the other two. See, that's the problem with doing these announcements remotely. I'm not there. I can't just walk over to the pit and talk to one of the crew. Go, hey, what happened to the car yesterday? So I can tell everyone on the stream.
いらっしゃいまして、上野貴弘選手のその今回の好調はやっぱり
I did say it? Okay, thank you, Chad. Yeah, so I can see chat. I will. I am reading it constantly. You're such a nice group of people in chat. Thank you.
あとはなんかセットアップも良かったらしいんですよ。でそれでかなりいい成績が出たという話がありましたね。さあそしてこの後ね斉藤大吾選手、上野貴弘。
For all the Malaysians in chat, Tengku Janlade has not run yet. He is in Group B1. So he'll be the one after this group we have warming up right now, which consists of this guy here, Daigo Saito, also Takahiro Ueno, in the big Lexus. Also last year's grand champion, not qualifying yesterday, Hideyuki Fujino. And we have back again after a bit of a crash yesterday, Hiroki Kano in the S15 Sylvia.
なのでその抽選が当日の朝あったり、例えば今日第2戦であれば昨日の夕方に、大会が終わった後に抽選があったりするんですけど、もうそこで、もうテンションがこう上がるかだだ下がりするかっていうところになる。その抽選風景。
So second group, Saito, Ueno, Fujino, Kano.
抽選風景も。
結構SNS でも選手は抽選がまず重要だっていうのは挙げてる話は昨日もしました。
Daigo Saito, new livery for the A90 Supra this season, rolling up to the start line. Came second yesterday, losing out to Naoki Nakamura.
さあそして斉藤大吾選手がやってきました。昨日は第2位ということで中村直樹選手と素晴らしい追走を見せてくれました。
I don't have a cough block. I have to turn the volume down.
テンションの
If I'm going to sneeze or cough.
全く同じ仕草。
Come to Malaysia, Alexia. I would love to. I would love to go to do a bit of a Southeast Asia tour, especially Malaysia. I'd be eating spicy stuff every day. Okay, first run, Daigo Saito. Oh, he's got the wiper going, so is there a bit of rain falling out there?
ワイパー回っていますが、どうでしょうか。他の選手に対してちょっと雨降ってきたぞみたいなまやかしの可能性がありますからね。
Nice smooth run from Daigo. This car looks really dialed compared to how it used to look. Yeah, nice smooth body movement. Daigo really has done something on the off season to sort out this chassis. It looks a lot easier to drive. Look at that, the flick back there just sits into the angle, eases into the angle, nice and stable, holds it all the way around.
斉藤大吾これがでも雨降ってますね。97.9。
やっぱり実績がやっぱりちょっと抑えた分。そうですね。
さあこれは
And a 97 there for Daigo. I think maybe just going for a bit of a test on his first run. You know, there's various strategies that these drivers take on their qualifying runs. Some go all out on both. Some will go for a bit of a feel it out test on the first run, and then go all out on the second. Some have zero plan at all, like Naoki. Alright, the big luxury touring coupe there with the 2JZ squeezed into the engine bay, because this car normally was a V6. or a V configuration.
速かった割にセクター位置が落ちてたので、ちょっとやっぱ
2JZ.
フロントもロックしてたんでね。
The longest running driver in D1 Grand Prix, Takahiro Ueno. That's Mr. Car Make T and E.
そうですね。もう多分ドライバーみんなコーナーはちょっと抑えてると思うんです。
やはり 97.8 点ということで、
And a 97.8 for Ueno.
さあ、そして続いてやってくるのは藤野秀幸。
It looks like this group, with this bit of rain that's falling right now, apparently. Maybe they're taking it easy on their first run. There's only been one group out so far. There's probably not a whole lot of information the spotters can give them about places on the track that some drivers are having trouble with.
これは多分いいんじゃないですか。
ここは綺麗に来ましたね。
Oh, not bad there. Nice and smooth there.
まずは1本目しっかりと決めてきました。
振り出した瞬間にフロントブレーキをどう使うかで、フロントブレーキとかサイドブレーキを使ってる量で、そのドライバーの気持ちが見えてくるんですよ。
See Fujino backing off for a split second just to let the car grip up a bit and let it push forward into that zone. There's not really any run these guys could do and still get a penalty and make it through to the top 16 unless it was like a perfect 100 score. And a 97.9, not too bad there for Fujino. Good average speed, a little bit slow on the entry. Compared to, well, actually, it's probably just Daigo is fast because he's always fast. He did 111 kilometers an hour. All right, next run. Kano in the S15 Sylvia. He had a crash yesterday with the wall. Looks like he was almost going for round 2 there. Kano qualifying yesterday in this 2JZ powered S15 Sylvia Rocket Bunny kit. He made it through to the top 16. Crashed into the wall, losing to Takahiro Mori in the 180SX. So he's already proven that he can make it into the top 16, but that's a bit of a throw there. So the speed you see on the score is on the straight, essentially in the part of the track where they're supposed to enter. That's where that speed is taken from. Of course, the rest of the course, a bit slower than that. It's not an overly high-speed track. Well, it's not a high-speed track at all. But it's just fast enough and just technical enough to separate the drivers out.
ちなみに熊久保さんだったらもしドライバーとしてこのスタート地点だったらどういう考えでいきますか？ドライでいきますか？
Yeah, the trick is getting enough speed out of the first corner and holding that speed through the connector. That seems to be the trick to winning tandems. And you can see there a penalty to Kano. That was for that that straight in there. Right, Daigo Soto, careful of that white line. You don't want to go over that and get a penalty. Got to keep it on the track. Daigo right on the very edge. Take a bit of a weird line there. Oh, Daigo a half spin. Yeah, that run, he lost his rhythm right at the start. So watch this, Daigo flicking out kind of wide. There goes right to the edge of the track, went in too deep, had to get on the accelerator, just hit that zone. So his timing is completely off here. Goes for a flick. He does it too late. Jumps on the brakes to try and bring the rear around, but it comes around too fast. That was just yeah, that run just from the very beginning, it was doomed. If we get a drone view, it'll be pretty obvious about what happened. So watch this. He should be already transitioning here, but he just starts quite late. And there you go, zone 1. Okay, zone 1 penalty. So he did actually miss it. He came up short. Absolute crooks in chat said, is Daigo always struggling with his cars lately? He came second yesterday. Yesterday he was on it. So I don't know. It's just kind of, oh, Ueno! The wall! Oh, save! Save! You don't want to see that car go into the wall. Okay. Alright, Ueno, car's good. Run, not so much. So track condition, not easy.
結果的に先ほどの斉藤大吾と一緒で点数を上げるためにチャレンジした結果なのか。はい、さあこれは
選手はワイパー回してないので。
回してないですね。はい。まああくまで。
So there was a bit of rain spitting there before. Let's watch this again. So.
そうですね。
あくまで審判団は向こうにいますので。はい。逆に何言っても何を言わせていただいても構わないっていうのがありますね。
It just looks like Ueno went for a bit too much of an aggressive entry there. See the car's motion, he stomped on the brakes. The front tires started to lock up a bit. So it wasn't smooth on his braking. Yeah, chat says 2 people got off track, so I guess it's the weather by now. This is what we were saying before about this this track. It does change quite quickly. Not seeing any umbrellas or raincoats in the background. Well, there's actually, well, there is one. There's 2. I'm a liar. There's 2 people wearing raincoats.
But 後付けのウェットケースってあるのかもしれないですよね。わかんないですけどね。
ですよね。だけどチャレンジして失敗しちゃってるから。
まあ結局はでも失敗しちゃってるので、だからもしかするとこの後の戦いで考えるとこのウェットケースの出るタイミングを。
Oh, the wipers are going. Okay, so it is. Oh, there is someone with an umbrella up top. There you go. You know it's raining only a tiny bit when Japanese people bring out their umbrellas.
ことを Oh no,
they put them down, so it stopped again. There you go. So this track is playing games with the surface. It's still morning there. Okay, so we are considered to be dry. But the spotters are probably saying, don't believe that sign as far as you can throw it.
逆に言うとだからその斉藤大吾選手と上野貴弘選手の処置もどうするかとか。
いやでもあれはもうあくまでも係数っていうのは計測の中の問題であって、ドライバー的にはそこは見極めてやらなきゃいけない。本来はあれは
has been turned around. Sign is now indicating wet. You guys can see rain in chat. I'm watching this on a huge monitor. I can't see it. Am I looking in the wrong place? Alright, so when this happens, what they usually do is they take a short break. Not a break, I mean they just wait to see if it's going to get any worse or if it's going to stop. Because they do have to change the DOS scoring to reflect the surface being wet. The track is wet.
寒いとは思いますが、ただ本当にそういうのも運ですよね。
そうですね。やっぱこう天気に左右されるね。
I'm physically there right now and it is raining. Yeah, okay.
くじ引きだったり、まああとその天気っていうのでやっぱ運は。
Is it cold? Must be cold. I was there the other weekend for an event called Doridore and the weather was like perfect.
あの時点で同じですからね。
後ろから走った方が雨だったらもうそれは仕方がないですもんね。まあそういうところは。降ってきましたね。
Oh, I can see it now. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, that's the trick, isn't it? You look at a dark part of the screen and that's where you can see it. Ah, that's raining, yeah. Okay. So the raincoats come out here at Okuibuki.
まさにこの後走る藤野選手なんかは雨は前向きに捉える。
Just have to let the weather settle just a little bit because the reason for that is just to give everyone a fair shot at qualifying. Let the rain fall a little bit. If it looks like it's going to continue as is, then they change the DOS scoring algorithm to include a wet surface.
プレステージを過
and
ぎ
then
て
they
ると触れ
continue.
ないの
ないで
で、
すね。
もしかしたら本来だったらウェットセッティングにしたい、もうバリバリのドライセッティングで今みんなスタートラインに並んでると思うんですね。
Chat says, what season is it in Japan? I don't know. Is it
でも
still
実際にウェッ
it's
トセッティン
spring?
グの場合はどういうところ、空気圧とか。
もちろん空気圧が一番最初に
Or do you mean what micro season it is?
減水圧を変えたりとかも、
Post
最初から雨であれ
Golden
ば
Week,
バネを変えたりとか、
bad
あとは
weather.
スタビライザーを、細くしたり、場合によっては取ってしまったりっていう部分が多いで
Chat
す
says,
ね。
what's different with wet scoring?
はい、もちろん
Essentially, well, the cars are going
ファイナルギア
slower.
はい、
あ、そうですね。
はい、
So it just kind of makes a difference. Also, we did have an issue. It was a long time ago. It was at around at ABC Circuit where it suddenly rained and suddenly
例え
stopped.
ば、え
And we started getting cars that were getting ridiculously high scores because as they come over the jump,
タイヤを押し付ける力が生まれるんですけど、
because they weren't going quite so fast, they were able to get huge angle comparatively very quickly.
いかに空転を
And the
維持
DOS
しながら
interpreted that as them
路
just
面にタイヤを押し
hucking it over
付
the
けて
jump and immediately being at full angle. We got these really high scores. It's like, oh wait, this is not right. So since then they've had to change it.
アクセルを抜かなくちゃいけないシチュエーションあるじゃないですか。その時ってみんなサイド引いてますよね。実はサイドブレー
Golden
キ
Week weather was kind of bad. It was, I think it was alright, honestly.
使ってるんではなくて、車を下に押し付けるためにサイドブレーキを引いてるんですよね。
Chat says, commentators allowed. I know, I can't control the sound of the cars, unfortunately. That's not my job. I tell them, I say, look, put some remote mics down, get the car audio sound. I'll turn it, when we get to the battles later today, what I usually do is I turn it down. I stop talking and try and turn up their channel. Some cars seem to sound really good on the mic, some don't. I don't know. That's it's not my department. I'm just the guy who sits here and yaps when there's stuff going on the track.
挙動も遅くなりますし、よりドライバーが何をやってるかというのは長い時間ではっきり見ることできますからね。
そうですね。
今
I agree though.
おっしゃられた通り、
Although you don't have to type all in caps, like that doesn't make you any louder.
音が皆さん入ってたりとか現地で見てる方なんていうのはストレートか
Chat
ら
says, is DOS human operated or AI? I mean, it's not AI. It's
必
just
ず
the
進入するときはアクセル抜かなくちゃいけないんですけど、
it's just the system. Like it
その抜くタイミングの音で
gets
すよね。であとは
the data of where the car is and applies that to the scoring and goes,
リアタイヤ
here's
と
your
リア
score.
フェンダーの隙間を見て
Just
ほしい。
think about it like, you know, in a video game when you have a
Right.
drift section of the track and you got to drift it. Like it's a combination of how fast you're going and how much angle you have, and if you're doing some combo or something, I don't know.
荷重が来ちゃってリアがすっぽ抜けてスピンしちゃったなっていうのが分かってくる。
Lexi just needs to imitate the engine sound, says Carriage. Okay.
さあサイドブレーキの
Hopefully we can hear Mad Mike's RX3. Speaking of that, Greasy just said any rotaries this round. We have two. We have Mad Mike's Magic
あれはもう
built
ほとんどの方は
RX3 wagon,
でもそれ体が知って
and we also have the FD RX7 built by Ariam and Miya,
バネの伸びを抑えるっていう効果がある。
and that's being driven by Yukio Matsui, who did make it out to the top 16 yesterday.
斉藤大吾選手からまあもうウェットだったよって判断ということで走行し直しと。
あ、じゃあ2本目はウェット宣言の中でやり直し。斉藤大吾救われましたね。
救われましたね。
上地も救われましたね。
はい。そして、改めてとなりますが、もうウェットが出てしまったので、各クラスの上位4名が
Chat said, we're having top 16 instantly today. I apologize for the incorrect thumbnail. I didn't know. I went home last night. I made up the got the stream ready, came in, and the producer said, "Oh, Lexi, we'll get you to do the qualifying on your stream, and then we'll do the top 16 over on the option one." So they changed it on me. Like I came in here this morning, and they changed it, so that's why. So we're only doing qualifying on the Norio channel here today. No Iwai. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Is he out though? Maybe I didn't see him in the. He's not. Wait, where is it? Iwai. That's why I only said two. Oh no, Iwai. You know he is in Group D4. So 3 rotaries. My mistake. I didn't see his name before when I read the list. So Iwai also out there in the FC RX7 will be out in Group D. D1 with Matsui. So 2 rotaries in one group.
解説はこちらなんで。
これ聞いちゃうと他のドライバーにバレちゃうんですよね。
いやでもそういう
まあ正直ねこれを聞くとなんかいいヒートがある。
What time is Mike coming out?
ちなみにこれ斉藤大
Pretty
吾選手がここに
soon.
来たじゃないですか。そうするとプレステージは例えば 藤野選手がもし押し出されているんだとしたら、ウェットで空気
Actually,
圧
not that soon. He's in C. We're currently doing Group A2. He's in Group C2.
ちょっとね、現場が見えてないんで、もしかしたらメカニックは触れないけど、自分でできるとかっていう場合もあるので、ドライバーは触っていいんですよ。
Can someone confirm that is Noriero translating? Well, you're watching it on my channel, so yes, it is me.
ただ今、斉藤大吾選手の後ろに上野隆弘選手。
Oh, Jonathan, yes, the CD works. Sorry, I got your message a while back. I forgot to answer it. Yes, it does.
ベテラン3人にとっては、ちょっと助かりましたね。
そうですね。確かに斉藤大吾。
藤野選手ももうちょっと点数を上げておきたい。
Chad said, I don't understand the scoring system. How did Daigo get a score if he literally spins out? Because the course is split into sectors. And you get a score for each sector. So let's just say you do sector 1, 2, 3 perfectly, and then sector 4 you spin out. Well, you get a 0 for that sector and a score for the rest of it. That's how it works. I mean, if you spin out, you're not qualifying, honestly. So it doesn't really matter.
ラバーに乗ってしまっていると速度が上がらないので、でウェット係数を厳しめにされてしまう。
Chad said, "Did someone use RBs in this season?" I don't think there's a single RB out there.
フルウェットよりも逆に滑るので。
Let's have a quick look. Just go from top to bottom. Okay, 2J, 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 2J. Okay, should I stop?
一つの
2J, 2J, 2J. In the R34 Skyline, a 2J Naoki, supercharged V8. 2J, 2J, 2J. Junior Ishikawa's using a 2J this season too. He's changed from the V6. 2J.
先ほど熊久保さんがおっしゃられた通り、そのリアのタイヤと
What engine's in Matsukawa's 85?
いわゆる車の後ろが沈むか沈まないかそういうところをねご覧いただくと、
そうですね。基本的に雨降ってきたらリアを続けることが重要なので、
そうですね。
2J, 2J, 2J. Yeah.
斉藤大吾、命拾いと言ったらですけど、そして今有料級の解説最高です。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。ドリームとトレバー。
Yeah, basically all 2Js. A couple of rotaries and one big bald eagle supercharged LSX.
はい、多分10がもう一番のザバザバの状態の雨だと思うんです。まあ今かなり滑る状況ではある。出ます。
All right, wet 6. Don't ask me how they decide that. It's just wet 6. Here we go. Okay, Daigo Saito, next run. Second qualifying run. Well, you can already see it's getting slick. Oh, that's very greasy right there. Trying to get traction through the connector.
今ね、ここの振り返しの音聞きました。今だったらパーンって一気にアクセルを抜いたと思うんですけど、斉藤大吾選手、なんかアクセルの抜き方をいっぺんに抜かないで、ちょっとアクセルを残しながら抜いてますよね。あれ、一気に抜くと、アクセルの抜くタイミング、抜きとバネの伸びって、リンクするので、一気に抜くとバネもピョンと一気に伸びるんです。そうすると一気に角度ついちゃうので、やっぱりウェットの場合は。
So watch how Daigo Saito drives in the wet. It's a little bit different how you'd normally drive in the dry. Now watch the transition here. Watch the tire rotation. Also, the accelerator work is fairly different in the wet. It's a lot more difficult to get grip, obviously, in the wet than it is in the dry. Skilled drivers will be able to extract as much grip out of the rear tire as possible by using the accelerator and the rotation speed of the tire. It's one of those tricky things you... Whoa, that was almost a three-wheel lock up there. Second run for Ueno. We're all of a sudden seeing a big loss in speed. Doesn't really make for exciting qualifying. A little bit jerky there, sort of a little bit of angle, a little bit of forward motion. The motion of the car there, he went for the entry, hit the brakes. The car kind of stalled for a second, then went to angle. Yeah, you can see the rear tire there, just not a big lock up Not over-rotating, just barely spinning. It keeps rotating. That's where you get the most amount of grip when you're trying to slide into a corner.
今流行りのコルベットとかみたく8気筒あるうちの4気筒にこう切り替えたりっていうのができたら理想です。
Ready to go next run. Hideyuki Fujino. Got the wipers going too.
サイド引くタイミングも早いですね。
そうですね。でも今上野も点数ちょっと伸びなかったんですよね。
はい。ちょっとやっぱりね、ここはなんだろう、まあもちろんこれケージの方も審査団もこの判断ってすごく難しい。
Oh, that track surface looks nasty right now.
このドライバー4人には申し訳ないですけど、運が悪かったと思っていただくしかないかもしれないですね。
Two big heavy cars of the Supra and the Lexus we just saw there, Daigo Saito and Ueno. Not easy to drive. This one, the GR86, not too bad. Actually, come to think of it, Mad Mike's car is probably the lightest one. Just trying to think. It's probably the lightest car out here. Will that have an advantage in the dry? Sorry, in the wet.
We're
going to find out fairly soon.
ね、上から落とされた人たちが緩くねえかってなるんで、これはもう本当に運でしかない。確かに。
The chat said, are they wet weather tyres or are they forced to run the standard set? Yep, they all run the standard set of tyres.
そうですね。
結果的にそこすべてが運ということですから。
And they can then adjust them after that with air pressure. Lower pressure, more grip, higher pressure, less grip. Generally, is the way it's done. Right, Kano, second run. Hit the wall yesterday. Don't want to jinx. Actually, I'm going to reverse jinx him by saying he hit the wall yesterday. Well, it's a bit of a late entry there. It's going to be very shallow with his angle. Okay, looks clean so far. A bit sus about that tyre missing that zone there. Nice smooth driving, not too exciting to watch. But it got the job done. He started quite late. Look at that, how late he started that. That means he had to, you can see the front steering wheel turn in a bit there, very shallow angle, but still hits his mark. No, that should be okay.
よほどこう雨の量が増えてこない限りはそんなに変わらないと思うので、
だから本当に久保さんのおっしゃる通り、もうここのグループに関してはもう運、
もうここはもう運が悪かった。逆に言えば、最初に走った3名の上位の3名は運が良かったと。
そうですね。まあ言うならばあと15分、例えば予選の開始が遅かったら、
91.2
足られば、いっぱいありますからね。
まあゴルフでもよくありますけれども。さあというわけで、ご覧いただいた通り、まずは A グループ予選通過が決まりました。村上充選手、目桑幸次郎選手、横井正選手、藤野秀幸選手
group so far.
ということで、まあ、本当に運が悪かった斉藤大吾選手、
Group A
茂木武選手、久保川澄香選手、加納弘樹選手は
斉藤大吾選手ね、昨日すごくいい走りして2位ですからね。いや
ー、本当ですよね。
怖いですね。
怖いですね。
怖いですね。勝負は。
でも本当に横井選手は救われましたね。
そうですね、横井選手結構もしかしたら危ないんじゃないかっていう感じだったんですけど、
よかったですよね。いやでも先ほど1000馬力のパワーがじゃあこの路面必要ですかっていう話がちょっとあったじゃないですか。この路面状況だとなんか余計僕は中村直樹選手になんかどんどん有利になっていってしまってるんではないかな。
Chat said, does D1 street legal still exist? I want to see some grassroots drift event like Ikaten or something. Well, the way it works in D1 Grand Prix is this is the triangle of D1 Grand Prix, the pyramid, the hierarchy. What you're watching right now is D1 GP, which is the top level. And then next step down you have D1 Lights, which is what replaced D1 Street Legal. So it's slightly different. For those who don't know, back in the day, D1 decided to make a feeder series or a step down series. They call it D1 Street Legal. And in the first season, there were actually some interesting rules which said things like the car has to have a functional stereo, and I believe it had to have, at least in the front of the car, full interior.
重要になってて、
そうですね。
今回そのウェットに強いタイヤというのをパリのタイ
So
ヤ
the idea was that it was going to be a street legal drift car.
そうですね。朝のうちに
But the way it works now is because D1 is under Japan Automobile Federation rules, which is like it's like the local version of FIA.
実は中村直樹選手が私たちも
D1 lights cars are essentially designed to be able to be used in D1 Grand Prix as well. If the driver wants to upgrade or if they earn their way into D1 Grand Prix, they can take their D1 lights car. It has the same safety regulations. So when you build the actual car itself, the safety regs are the same. All you need to do is just upgrade everything else on it, power, whatever. And down the bottom is the D1 regional series, or it's called Chihosen. And those are run in different parts of the country, like as a local series. And you can earn points in those to get into D1 Lights, and then earn points in Lights to get into D1 Grand Prix.
そういうところで走ってるドライバーなので、あとはもう天狗ジャンすごく古い選手です。ベテランドライバーなので、多分こういう路面。I don't know if it was air conditioning that I don't know if you needed air conditioning. I don't remember. I probably have the regulation book like back home somewhere because I have a lights license. I mean, I had a street legal license back in the day. It's continued on. I just keep renewing it. I never use it though. Okuibuki だったりお台場っていうところはすごくこう得意なコースになるんじゃないかなと思います。
When will I join D1 Lights? If you look in the comment in the description down below, I do have a Patreon. Join that.
そして今天空ジャン本番ですね。さあそして今先ほどよりはどうでしょうかね。路面の状況はどうかですが。
It's 4 a.m. in France. How did I even get here? Well, bon nuit, mon ami. You should stay here and watch some drifting. I driver on screen right now. The Malaysian entry, Tengku Janlei. Looking really good, actually. Okay, let's watch the replay. Sorry, I was just talking over Tengku Janlei's entire run there. So this car built in Daigo Saito's workshop, Fat 5 Racing. Probably the little clue there is the colouring, the bronze and green of the rear tyre. It's sort of a Daigo look right there. Yeah, you can see the difference in usage of the handbrake there. Compared to what I was talking about before, the way, like watching the rear tyre. We'll get to that in a second. Watch this. Great control of the GR86 from the Malaysian driver. Yeah, a lot of Southeast Asian drivers are good at these car park style events because that's what they do back home. Now watch the rear tyre. Watch this. He's going to pull the handbrake, lock, 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 like that. Compare that to some of the other drivers where the wheel slows down, almost stop, but it doesn't stop all the way. That's the difference. It's a real technique that's difficult to master. Oh, and a zone 2 penalty. 天狗ジャンの1本目走行終了です。89.7 点でした。さあ、そしてこのペイ選手ですね。Our next driver, one of our Thai entries from Thailand, Pei. 180SX. Just taking it easy on his first run, I think. Just hit those marks. Get a feel for it. In the Japanese commentary, Kumakubo spends quite a lot of time in Thailand recently. There's a lot of Thai drivers who get him to help them. And he's saying that apparently the way to cheer on the drivers is they say susu. In Japanese you say gambare, which probably some of you know that word. 頑張れ。
そうですね。ですから先ほどの天狗ジャンの 89.72 も高いのか低いのか分かんないです。
Alright, clean run though for Pei.
やっぱかなり渋くつけられてますからね。さあこうなってくるとこの辺りがまずはベースになってくるのか。さあ山口浩二。先ほどメクワ浩二郎。
You might notice that the scores seem quite low now. And you might be thinking, well, how are these guys going to out-qualify the people who qualified in the dry? Well, you might have noticed what they've done is when a situation like that happens, they split the qualifying groups. So it goes from overall score to group score. So each particular group, so Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, will have 4 drivers from each group make it through to the top 16. Just to keep it, it's the best way to keep things as even as possible. Of course, all the groups are decided by lottery in the morning as well. So there's no seeding system like there used to be.
そうですね。滑らかさっていう意味ではつけやすいと思います。
さあ、やっぱ見ていてすごくスリッピーな路面なんで滑らかにね、動いてますもんね。さあ、山口浩二のまずは1本目リプレイご覧いただいてます。
So if you've joined us from the beginning, you might be thinking this car looks very similar to one we saw before. It's because they're teammates. There's 2 of these cars. Oh my god, they were teammates. Mekua is also driving a similar car to this, although this is Koji Yamaguchi. They both have E92 BMWs, 2JZ with the Eurofighter kit. Oh, the Shark Girls are back. Keiichi Nomura. This is the son of Nomuken, the old school D1 Grand Prix driver. This Nomuken drove the big 4-door ER34. His son Nomura in the coupe. Someone before was asking about RB engines in D1 Grand Prix. Nope, this is a 2JZ as well. I'm glad someone knew what I was referencing there. Alright, not an overly exciting run, but technically really good. He went for a little feint entry there. Unlike a lot of the other drivers, trying to get immediate angle. Because when you do a feint entry, it's kind of like like swinging back for a roundhouse punch. You lean back and swing, and you have a lot more momentum when you go for that flick entry. But in these conditions, maybe not the best idea, but overall solid run for Keiichi Nomura. Unfortunately for him, not qualifying yesterday. It's actually his debut season in D1 Grand Prix. He did a couple of seasons of lights and earned enough points for a GP license, and now he's here. Oh yeah, someone asked about Ikatens before as well. They're actually bringing Ikatens back, believe it or not, if you know what an Ikaten is.
すごいですね。そうですね。はい。審査外のジェイク間でワンアウトしながらタイヤ温めてました。こういうところ賢いですよね。
Naoki going for a cheeky burnout before the course starts. Might get talked to about that. This S13, yesterday's first place winner. Yesterday, first place qualifying, first place in the competition. Can he make it a clean sweep this weekend? Supercharged V8 in this S13, Sylvia. Let the bald eagle sing, brother. Yeah, Naoki really seems to like this car. He also has a 2JZ S15 Sylvia that he uses for competition. But this season he's brought back the V8. Seems to be performing pretty well now. Originally they had quite a few little gremlins they had to work out, melting plug leads and all that sort of thing. Alright, now get 90.2 for that run. Honestly, be surprised if we don't see Naoki in the top 16. Which is a good place to be as a driver, if people just expect you to be in the top 16. Okay, Tengku Lei, the Malaysian entrant, back again for his second run. Getting aggressive this time. After the transition.
まあもちろん見てるとこれ主観審査だったらすごい上手じゃないですか。コントロール上手なところをドスが見抜いて減点してくるのでここが難しい。
Two pretty consistent runs in a row.
サイドブレーキのそのトラクションかけるためのサイドブレーキはいいかもしれませんけど、角度を増したりするようなサイドブレーキはあまりドス
は悪く取りますね。
今このようにサイド今引いてますけれども、これもあんまり良くない。
あそこの進入はいいんですけど、その後のもう一回引き直し。
Someone in chat actually just pointed this out, and the Japanese commentators just said it too. Yeah, DOS does not like it when you, how can I say? Can I say bum drag? When you use too much handbrake sliding into a corner, that slowing that, that real handbrakey slowing down. It doesn't like that. Yeah, we just saw that a bit there from Tengku Lei, the Malaysian entrant. All right, next driver. Hey, our Thai entry. Oh, it's going to be a speed. Keep it off the wall. And save. Oh, yeah, looks like he should be okay.
攻めるとこうなりますよね。
そうですね。
Pei going for a big entry, just trying to go aggressive. He went kind of soft in his first run. This is his last chance. Chat said, so how come he has the nickname of Pei? I don't know how the Thai nicknames work. I'm sure there's a reason.
今シーズンの D1 グランプリでも何かこう活躍をしてくれそうな。
そうですね。もうタイではもう本当に上位の常連ドライバーなので。
さあこれがリプレイです。進入ですね。ここは思い切って角度をつけていったんですが、
ストレートでアクセルを抜くタイミングが速くて、最後。
I mean, in Australia, I don't know it's that common these days, but in Australia back in the day, if someone had red hair, you'd nickname them Blue. So, explain that.
せっかくかけた荷重これですね。
はい、これ一回後ろが。
All right, replay here. What was and a 19. So this someone asked before about how can someone spin out and get a score. Well, if they spin out in sector 3, they still have their score from sector 1 and 2. That's the way it works. For those of you who have joined us waiting to see Mad Mike, he's coming up in 2 groups from now. He's in Group C2. We're currently in Group B1. And this is Koji Yamaguchi in the BMW. We have 2 BMWs in D1 Grand Prix for today's competition.
ここからは安定した角度を求められて、そして速度全体でのスピード感も必要ですが、山口浩二2本目終了。
本来ね、この3から4のところの4の入り口でも角度をつけた状態で、綺麗にアクセル踏んで一筆書きで行きたいんですけど、その進入をすると多分。
So Koji Yamaguchi not having the greatest luck in the past couple of seasons. This run though looking pretty good.
せめぎ合いがドライバー的にね、行くべきか抑えるべきか。
He's had quite a lot of issues with the car, mechanical problems, and just unforced self-errors. That angle there, just that little bit more, little bit more, little bit more. It's not too clean, but overall, not a bad score for the rest of the run. There you go, 90.9 for Yamaguchi. See, we're down to 80km/h entries now instead of 100 over like we saw before. That's how wet it is right now. But second run, Keiichi Nomura. Mata kuru bai.
いいですね。進入の仕方のストレートでのアクセルワークはずば抜けていいですね。
Interested to see what his entry speed was. He was pedaling that pretty well down the front straight to build up speed. Oh. Let's get into that zone there. Don't go over the edge of the track. Oh, he stalls up for a second to avoid going off the edge of the track. Yeah, he wasn't too sure about that sector there. The car was kind of unstable. Let's watch this. Just the flick entry as well. Quickly onto the handbrake just to settle the car. Nice angle. Nice angle in these conditions. Hits that zone. Let's watch the transition. So he messes up at the top half of the course here. Let's see what the score is. You can see the handwork there, just sort of last second winds on angle. Yeah, this is kind of ugly right there. And it was quite low actually. It's 73.97. Yeah, it looked faster than it was. Next driver, it's Naoki. He's going to do a little rolly down the ramp before the course entrance. I mean, technically it's legal, so, you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. You ain't racing. I don't know. What did Smokey say? Second run, Naoki hits that zone. In these conditions, it sounds like a top fuel dragster idling. See if I can turn them up. There you go. Right, on board with Naoki. He's got one hand on the steering wheel, shift up, one hand on the knife blade looking hydraulic handbrake. Yeah, so watch his rear tire. You never really see it lock up. Watch the flick here. Watch the rear tires. Just a bit of a lock. But see, they keep rotating for most of it. There's no real consistent lock up there. That's the way to do it. And there you go. Naoki Nakamura, 92.7. Decent entry speed too.
いやこれはしっかりと土層を見極めて 92.7 点出してきました。トップです。これ中村直樹選手と俺の作戦がぴったり一致したので、これ後半の人が
Someone in chat says, what do you recommend for someone with no connections to Japan in order to spectate some of the car scene drifting? You lost me when you said street drifting. Sorry, I can't help you with that. Sorry. You know what they say though, you gotta be there to you gotta be in it to win it. Just show up, dude. Go where people are and ask. That's all you can do. Alright, so that's Group B1. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? B1. It's time for B2. Group B2 is going to be Yukitano, Hashi, Matsuyama, and Ishikawa.
どうなんですかね、雨降ったらもしかしたら野球の老人バッグみたいな感じで逆にグリップ感がわかんないですよ。あともしかしたらぬるぬるになっちゃうかもしれないし。
Chat said you can feel each driver's personality in this. It's the best thing about drifting, I think, honestly. Different drivers have different styles. And it's fun to see how they tackle the track in different conditions. Alright, there we go. So top 4 drivers in that group. Malaysian entrant Tengku Lei, 4th place. So because the conditions changed, you can see the big disparity in the score between Group 1 and Group 2. It's because it rained. So when it rains, they have to split the groups. Normally it's just whoever has the best 16 score if the conditions of the track are the same the whole time. I was a bit low there. Pardon me. But because it did start raining, they had to split the groups. So the top 4 drivers from each group. So you know it might rain more. It looks like there's a bit of rain there coming off the roof of the tent.
もう車のコントロールにかけては得意中の得意ですから。で、石川純也選手は私は昨日も言いましたよね。ストリートリーガル時代から私は目をかけてて、実はうちのチームにスカウトをしたから。
How much more important is Zone 1 compared to say like Zone 3? Yeah, they are worth different amounts. I don't have the guidebook. They didn't give me one. They are worth different. You can kind of look at the score and tell what they're worth. It's like 20, 30, 20, 20, 10 or something like that. If that maths up. We'll have a look on the score. Worth paying off the weather gods? I don't know. I mean, some people are kind of better in the rain. Some people enjoy driving in the rain. Some don't, so I guess they would. I'd say you pray to the god of concrete to leave you alone. I think is probably the best thing to do at this track.
雨粒があんまり落ちてないので、ちょっと同じ係数なんですけど、路面コンディションはちょっと良くなってるかも。で、雨粒が増えてなければ、走ってるところの水が多少はけますから、少しなりとも良くなってくる可能性はありますね。はい。まあそうなってくると路面状況難しくはなってこないんですね。
Right, next driver's about to head out for their warm-up run.
逆にこう本当に乾いてるところと濡れてるところの差が激しくなってくると、
S15
全体的に濡れるんですけど、
four-door Skyline.
少なくなってるので、
The brand new GR Corolla drift car. You can see on screen right now. This is the four-door Skyline.
ちょっと有利というか運がいいのかなって感じがします。
全体的なボトムスピードとか全体的な平均速度も上がりますからね。
Yuki Tano on screen right now there. Masakazu Hashi, the four-door R34 Skyline.
今、ハイス選手もサイドで足してるので、ひょっとしたら、でもこの辺りはちょっと滑っちゃうのかな。ハ
イス選手はちょっと昨日の
And sliding into view there, the brand new GR Corolla build of Hokuto Matsuyama, of course, 2JZ rear-wheel drive. And Junya Ishikawa's GR86.
フェンダーかぶってますからね。
アクセルワークもやっぱりすごくこう一定に保って、ここはねいいですよ。
In chat, Morven. When we get the score up, we can have a look at it together.
このフリー走行で全てを分かっておいた方がいいですからね。行き過ぎることは重要ですからね。
パイロットが倒しちゃったりすると減点されたりするんですけど、コース内で収まってる分には関係ないので。
Alright, next group we have 4 drivers to go. Yuki Tano, Masakazu Hashi, Hokuto Matsuyama, and Junya Ishikawa. We'll be starting with this driver here, Masakazu Hashi.
ご覧いただいて、熊久保さんはウェットは
大好きです。
Okay, sister car to
大好物です。
the one we saw before being driven by Yokoi.
雨降るって決めてたら参加します。
なるほど。はい。タイヤの本数も少なくていいですね。
そうですね。はい。
さあというわけで田野祐希、まずは1本目となっていきます。どうでしょうか。まあ今シーズン東洋タイヤは参戦20周年ということで、まあかなりね気合も入っています。さあそんな東洋タイヤに切り替えての D-MAX レーシング参戦ということで、
結構こうみんな雨降るとエアってどのぐらい下げるのっていう方がいらっしゃると思うんですけど、実はあんまり下げすぎると、今度は真ん中がへこんでしまって水が溜まってしまって余計水はけが悪くなったりするので、逆にね雨降ると上げる場合もあります。雨の量によっては。
そうですね。面圧って言ってね、
そうですね。はい。
かけるように。
なのでやっぱ人それぞれで、まあ雨の量とかにもよるんですけど、あとはもう人の感覚で。
そうですね。さあ、田野祐希が起き出しました。まずは1本目。
Alright, we get first run for Yuki Tano. Oh, that's an aggressive entry. They're good angle. Can he make it out to that zone at that angle? Oh, he's modulated really nicely there. Smooth run, good handwork and footwork there from Tano. Oh, a big lock up there, but the car still looks stable. He's slowed down a bit.
横に飛んでる車をうまくコントロールしましたよね。さあただ、ただその動きをドスがどう取るここですよね。
Yeah, pointing out the Japanese chat there. It's difficult not to overdrive your car in the wet.
ただ最大角は一気に出てるので、結構点出ますかね。
Everything is a bit slower in the wet. Obviously, the movement of the car is a bit slower. But you have to do everything a bit slower, and just the way the car moves when it's drifting slowly compared to when it's drifting fast is quite different. It can sometimes be difficult not to be a bit too aggressive with the car and overdrive it and spin out or crash. Our next driver, Masakazu Hashi, 4-door. Let's see if he made a bit of an improvement to his setup compared to yesterday. It was like, whoa, he's kind of going to the edge of the track there. Be careful, it's a long car. Hashi not qualifying yesterday. Car seemed to be kind of unstable on this surface, maybe a bit too stiffly sprung and under-dampened. Or is it the other way around? Not too sure. Alright, well, complete run there for the R34. Yeah, look at the rear end bounce around like that. That's not what you want on the entries. The rear of the car bouncing around like that, weighting up, unweighting, taking the weight off and on, makes it difficult to control. You can hear them in the Japanese commentary saying pyoko pyoko pyoko. It's like the sound of bouncing. The sound of hopping, I should say. It's like a bunny rabbit would pyoko pyoko. Like that's the sound of a bunny rabbit hopping. And a zone 1, zone 2 penalty. Oh, sorry, we didn't look at the overall scores there. We'll do it on the next one. Okay, this will be a good run. Matsuyama, brand new build Corolla. If you ever have the chance to drive a GR Corolla, I recommend it. It's better than you think. Not a paid ad. All right, first run, Matsuyama. A nice stable-looking car, even though it is kind of a bubble shape compared to some of the other more sleek long cars we have here at D1 Grand Prix. Really modulating the throttle. Trying to keep the tires at their peak grip. I guess one of the downsides of, I mean, drifting is a visual motorsport. Cars that are long tend to look more aggressive for the same motion just because they're long. Okay, so you can see there, it's like 20, 30, 20, 20, 10. Does that add up? All right, next driver. Ishikawa. Whoa, throws it a bit too much. Should be able to save it. Actually managed to keep it on track. That was a good job. And over the line, smacks the limiter over the line. Oh yeah, and Chad said it's a long wheelbase. It just looks short. I know. I should have clarified what I meant. When you're watching it, even if a car is long wheelbase, like for example, the GR86s are longer than they look. As goes for the Corolla, it's longer than it looks, but you know this is judged by a computer, so it doesn't really take anything like that into consideration. Chat says reverse entry bonus points. I don't think so. I think see the problem with what people call reverse entries is when you throw it in and then you have to wind the angle off. That will lose you points, especially with DOS.
ただ支配人はこの石川純也選手をすごくこう気にしてた話がありましたけど、トレーニングには来られたこととか
彼は四国なので、はい、実はトレーニングを直接したことがないです。アドバイスはしたことあるんですけど、実際直接トレーニングはしたことないですね。
なんで社員の井草さんには伝説残した方がいいって原付でこういうぐらいのこと言うのに石川選手には言わないんですけどね、
やるべきでしたね。
可愛がってるとそういうこと言わないんですね。
そうですね。
はい、さあでもやっぱりねこの走りを見てどうですか、ポテンシャルっていうのはこう将来的にやっぱありそうですか。
彼はそのポテンシャルはすごい、実は彼の師匠が平島君って言って、はい、 平島君自体が私は実はリーガル時代
Chat says, what is DOS? DOS is the D1 original scoring system. It's the electronic scoring system they use in D1 Grand Prix. So we do have humans watching. Humans are in charge of things like half spins, giving penalties for that, penalties for missing zones, going off the edge of the track, collisions, and things like that. Video review. But just the vanilla part of judging comes down to the computer. And a line off in sector 4, so the bottom part of the track, the tighter hairpin. Looks like he dropped the wheel off there. Ready we go. Tano, second run. A little bit choppy so far, but he's keeping his speed up. Neat judges, yeah. I know, right? Alright, not too bad there for Tano. A little bit choppy here and there, but he kept his speed up. That's important. So watch the entry. Yeah, right there. You can see that he gets on the handbrake. As soon as he gets off the handbrake, the car wants to straighten. He kind of kicks it out again, using the steering.
ドライバーのこれやっぱシミュレーターをやってるドライバーによくあるんですけど、反応速度がすごいんですよ。カウンターステアの当て方とか。お、来ましたね。94.5点。And a
94.5. So obviously he kept his speed up, and that was important. That's why it looked so on the edge there, is because he was going so fast. It's a balance. It's a difficult balance. It's hard to get right. It's hard to get everything right at one time. That second run, Hashi, that's a lot of angle there, but not a whole lot of speed. It's sort of the opposite of what we just saw. It looks smooth, but it's slow. Yeah, this one's sort of the opposite of the run we just saw from the S15 of Tano. Alright, so an improvement. Give him a few more runs, maybe he'll get there, but they only get 2 solo runs here. Alright, Matsuyama, second run. You can see the pressure of the rear tires there squishing down even in the wet. Low pressure means the tire spreads out. It has more contact with the ground, which means more grip. An onboard view here. I love the look and stance of this car, that big wide body kit. And there you go, Matsuyama, great run there, 94 in the wet. Puts him in first place in this group. Our next run, Ishikawa. Go faster, go smoother. A bit unsure on the steering. Yeah, we're still not getting any white smoke from the tires on the connector where they're usually spinning it up pretty hard. Yeah, not a bad run there. So this car previously running Toyota V6 is currently running the Toyota Straight 6 2JZ.
車速が高いので平均車速でかなり加点になってるような気がするので、点は伸びるんじゃないかなと思うんですけど。
Chat said, a bit curious about cars. Do people still run low power cars in this series? It seems that everyone has 1,000 plus horsepower. I wonder how a car with half that power would do. Well, if you want to know the answers to that, you should have tuned in yesterday to watch D1 Lights, which is essentially D1 Grand Prix cars with half the power.
そうですね、ギリギリ4番手、石川純也通過、これによって
Ishikawa fourth in this group, so just barely hanging on there. 92, so each group, it's the top 4 drivers from each group. The reason for that is because at the end of Group 1, we did have a change in weather. So in order to keep it fair, they split the groups up, and each group has their own weather condition, depending on how it is. And you get the top 4 drivers from each group. So that's unfortunate for drivers like, for example, Daigo Saito.
もう少し後というか後ろだったら路面状況も良かったですかね。
もしかしたらこのグループだったら、
このグループの中の後ろの方だったら良かったかもしれないとなりますね。
Alright, so that is Group A and Group B run.
さあ A グループ B グループと終了しました。
Okay, we're coming into Group C now.
コースご覧いただいてますが、さあ熊久保さん、ここまで
Starting out with Group C1. For those of you who are here to watch Mad Mike, he's in Group C2, so he's coming up pretty soon. But in this group, Mr. Average, Takahiro Mori, in the MJ Style GR86, Hayato Miyoshi, in the A90 Supra, Mao Yamanaka, and also in the Toyota AE85, Kazuya Matsukawa.
さあというわけでミレニアム5というね、今回お話がありましたけど若手5人種のうちのまずは1人田野裕樹は予選
Mao Yamanaka, a bit of a spin there on the warm-up. It's not always a great thing to happen. And the A85.
ぜひね皆さんそちらも楽しみにそば切りと、そして山中ですね、山中真央ですね。はい、今ちょうど出てますね、山中真央。はい。
The 85, previously the oldest car here. That wasn't until Mad Mike brought along his RX3 wagon, a 1976 model.
ミスターアベレージでこの C グループの8台の中のアベレージになるってことですね。そうですね。4位か5位ぐらいになるってことですね。はい。
さあただ昨日から森もだいぶねこの奥井吹に対して走りアジャストすることできてますし、
そうですね、乗れてますからね。
はい。さあそして今カメラに雨粒が
ちょっとまた雨が降り出してきたのかな。
ただ雨量とその走っているタイヤのなんていうのかなこう走ってる台数っていうのかな、それによってもどんどん路面状況良くなってきますからね。
そうですね。
雨量ほど。
Chat said, what engine's in the 85? It's a Toyota 2GR V6 twin turbo. 2GR based engines used in a whole bunch of different cars. In Japan, generally, you'll find them in the Toyota Crown and the bigger sedans. It's basically the replacement of the JZ series of engines.
ラバーが乗ってないところを狙うとグリップがあるよ。それでドリフトにも関係あったんですよね。
もちろんです。
ってことは、熊久保さんが監督やってるスポッターとかやってると、ちょっと
Chat said, how does DOS score? Is it cameras, sensors on the ground, AI? It's been around for so long. I think it was around before there was any good kind of AI. Essentially, it's what's called a drift box. It's a commercially available meter. I think it's made in the UK. Comes from a UK company. They're installed in the car. GPS antenna, transmitter, transmits back to a computer, which has a program running on it. It's a proprietary scoring system. And it goes through a scoring program for whatever track we're on and spits out a score. So it's programmed essentially with what the judges say would be a 100-point run, and everyone tries to do their best to match that. Obviously, the judges tell DOS what they want to see, and they tell the drivers the same thing. Right, first run, Takahiro Mori, big crash in the back yesterday. Looks like he was going for round 2 there, decided to get on the brakes and stop it. GP Sports 180SX.
ただその後はしっかりとこの後の2本目に向けて路面の感触を確かめていきます。この辺りもドライバーとしては必要な走りですね。さあ次につなげるための走りをしていきます森高弘。
さっきのグループよりどんどんやっぱりグループが追うごとに。
And Mori had a bit of a big crash yesterday during a battle. They brought the car in, used about 5 rolls of duct tape on the back. Looks like they've repaired it overnight though.
さあ森高弘のリプレイご覧いただいてますが、この辺りはね、次に向けてしっかりと路面の状況を確認しながら走っていきます。さあまずは1本目 62.4 点失敗の走りでした。
Right there, also very average score there.
さあ三好はどうなるのか。昨日の予選はガス欠はいということで、もう右コーナー走れませんでした。さあ今回はここはもうベテランとしてしっかりと。
Our next run, Hayato Miyoshi, 8-6, ran out of fuel yesterday, believe it or not.
そうですね。
He missed his second qualifying run because he ran out of fuel on the start line.
探りすぎって言ってますよ。じゃあ自分が出たらどうなんだったらもう絶対探りまくりですからね。
だけど今のサイドはいけないサイドですね。
あれはちょっと手前で角度を止めちゃってるんで。
継ぎ足し。
Chat said, did anyone get a 100-point run recently? Yep, yesterday Naoki Nakamura got a 100.9. Although that was in the dry, so unfortunately I don't think we're going to be seeing a 100-point run in today's qualifying.
振り幅の差を見てるので、あとその振ってる時間ですよね。なるべく短ければ短いほど。
Fairy JZX says, Alexi, how many Indonesian drifters do you know, and who's your favorite? I think I know. I think I know one Malaysian drifter, and I can't remember his name. And the reason I know him is because I met him like 5 or 6 years ago, but I can't remember his name. I can probably remember his Instagram username, but I can't remember his actual name.
だからやっぱそこまで良かったんですね、三好としては。さあそしてミレニアム5山中真央の登場です。さあ今シーズンからウェインズ、トヨタ神奈川、
How much slower is the entry in the wet? It's probably about 20 kilometers an hour slower in the wet. We're seeing sort of 100 kilometer an hour entries on average before. Now they're getting down to sort of mid to low 80. Amandio? Yeah, I think so. That's him. Yeah, that's him. That's the one. I'm just saying that because I've met him before and he seemed like a nice guy. All right, next run. Mao Yamanaka. Oh, very tentative entry there in the big Supra. Maybe seeing a little bit of smoke starting to form.
そのやっぱ多分スープラとして一番難しいこの1セクの振り出しの部分のトリッキーな部分は、あえてサイドを使って点数捨ててでも、あそこでもう大減点をさせないために捨てて、でその後車の
slight feint, slight handbrake, let go of the handbrake, car started to straighten a bit, and then kicked out again. Not a great entry. You want everything to be in one big motion. Okay, score there 92 there, 76 kilometers an hour compared to up to and over 100 we saw in the dry. Our next run, Matsukawa V6 in the A85. We have to call it that because that's what it says on the firewall. Oh, look, sounds like the engine may be not cooperating.
多分シフトレバーを握り続けると、シフトが戻りきんなくてレバーが戻りきんなくて、上がらない時があるんですよね。はい、シーケンシャルの、シフトって、イメージは叩かないとダメなんですよ。引っ張ったり押したりすると入らない時があるので、どうしてもウェットなので、そのシフトタイミングってすごい大事なんですよね。
なるほど。叩くってもう本当に手でダーンと押すような感じですね。さあこれはちょっとシフトミスがありました。
Japanese commentators talking about Matsukawa's shifting, and they're saying they think he might have missed a shift there.
続いて森ですね。さあまた森の登場です。さあどうでしょうか。先ほどの1本目は失敗。
All right, let's see. They're no longer using their wipers. Are the wet conditions on the track going to go away? He's going for another back entry there, Mr. Average. Keep it off the concrete, please. 2 half spins for Mori. Yep. Managed to qualify yesterday, so he made it through. Today, 2 spins. Average. If you add those together and divide them by 2, there you go. Average. It goes for the flick entry, and it's just a bit too aggressive trying to get the rear end to step out.
もうスピンしたくてやってるんですよねっていう操作になっちゃってるんですよね。
He's called Mr. Average because he does everything averagely when it comes to his driving. Either he just does like average, or he does really good one time and then terrible next time, just like today. He's average. Great sounding car though, unfortunately you can't hear it on the stream, but it's got a amazing sounding, I think it's made by All Track, a company in Japan, the manifold and the 2JZ. Great, that ringing JZ sound, it sounds great. Yeah, but as Chad said, at least he didn't bin it, that's true. So 0 for the party spun, and then just some sort of scores to make up the rest, because he did drift the rest of the track.
さあ続いて三好です。三好は先ほどセクター1、セクター2良かったです。さあそこを修正する。
Next driver, Hayato Miyoshi, second run.
そうですね。この安定性が
Hopefully he remembered to put fuel in it this time.
はい。さあこれ角度も安定してアウト側から舐めるようにこのセクター1のアウトゾーンの通過をしていきます。そしてセクター2のフリップをしっかり取りに行く。さあ振り返してここです。
Transition. Yeah, a lot of locking there, the rear tires.
さあただ三好としては
これ点伸びると思います。
さあ三好2本目、熊久保さんとしては点が伸びそうというねコメントありますけれども。
Alright, second run for Miyoshi. Yeah, fairly early on the entry there. Yeah, I guess it's just going to come down to the DOS and what kind of score he gets. There's nothing overly wrong with it. Watch the flick here. Handbrake, get the car settled. Another handbrake again, a bit more. Bit more. Yeah, it's he's just sort of waiting for the car to come around. And the longer you wait, the slower the car gets. And when it comes to tandem battles, that means the guy behind is going to catch up.
1セクを攻めるかどうするかを多分今スポッターと話したと思うんですよ。
さあここです。ここアウト側から大きく振っていきます。
確定させるためには。
The chat said, are pretty much all the cars in comp sequential now? As far as I know, keep it off the wall. Save. We're good.
まあでもまあちょっとなんか。
As far as I'm aware, they are all sequential in D1 Grand Prix. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any H pattern cars. There's definitely H pattern cars in D1 Lights, D1 Lights, of course. But then again, some people use sequential boxes in that too.
組み立てというか、心意気も重要ですからね。さあ山中のリプレイ。ここもしっかりずっとリア沈んでますもんね。
ちょっとやっぱね、この辺がスープラの。
Is there any way to hear the cars better? Unfortunately, no.
どうしても本来だったらあそこで振り返して進入した時に再度引きたいんですよ。
What I did yesterday was when we watched the battles, I turned myself off basically, and turn the Japanese stream a bit more so you can hear both cars running together.
こういう風になってしまう。これやっぱりね、例えばこれが JZX100 だったりとか、シルビアだったらああいう風にならない。
Chat said, any American chassis in D1? This season, well, this round, no. Probably the last time an American chassis ran a D1 Grand Prix was Daigo Saito's Corvette. We have 2 BMWs currently. Got the guys who are, what is it? Rock whipping that foreign. Is that a line?
ちょっと抑えすぎですよね。まあしょうがないですよね。1個目ミスだったんで。さあとにかく4番手の中には入りたいところです。松川和也。
I'm sorry, Chad, if I cough sometimes. I had bronchitis because I had a cold the other day, so I can't get to the volume in time sometimes. Alright, second round Matsukawa, that's big angle there. But then again, Choppy goes for another little swing out there to get more angle.
あとはこの3のこの次のここですね。ここがちょっと角度を止めてしまう。
That said, yesterday's first place qualifier and first place in the battles was powered by a supercharged V8, so American V8.
そうですね。
So there you go.
はい。
All right, we have an. Looks like someone reset the scoring system. 88.8. 88.8. 3 fat ladies. 88.8.
これすごい。
全員残ってもおかしくない。
濃いですね。
That's a bingo thing.
ご覧いただきましょう。
22, 2 ducks in a row.
前半ですね。山中真央が92点でトップ。そして三好隼人90点。
Can't remember any other ones.
そして松川和也が 88.7。そして森高弘が、まあこれ失敗があったんですが、63点ということで。はい。
Alright, that's Group C1.
現場からの情報ですと、どうやら審査員席にものすごく強い雨が吹き込んできてると。
じゃあもしかしたらこの C グループの後半で路面が悪くなる可能性があるってこと？
まあ間違いなく今そういう状況になりつつあるってことですよね。だから今までのその全体での車速がまた落ちていくので、
落ちてきて、まあそれに合わせて係数を、でも C だから変えないのか、変えるのかな？
変えればですけどね。だからそうなってくると90点台、90点ぐらいだと、
でもさっきの A を考えると途中で係数変えますよね。
そうですね。さあ、そば切り広大。去年のお台場で、最終戦お台場でも確かそば切りは、このウェット係数というか、このウェットの予選に泣かされた。
そうなんですね。
ただまあ今シーズンはインフィニティからね、この GR の86に切り替えてますので。
Our next group coming out to check the track conditions. You can see the glare from the headlights there. It is still fairly wet. And coming out right now, it is all the way from New Zealand. Mad Mike. Now, wet conditions. I don't know about this. Then again, oldest car. Probably the lightest car. Probably the best sounding car here, if we can get some audio on that. And a bit of a flick and spin there for Yumito Hatanaka. It's always really embarrassing to do that when you're doing the warm-up. You come out, you do warm-up. That's the warm-up lap, spin. Hate that, absolutely hate that.
豪雪地帯なので、もう冬の間は雪しかトレーニングする場所がないので、散々雪を走っていると思うので、滑る路面が得意だと思います。
Alright, so this group, Kordei Sobagiri, Mad Mike Widet, Yumito Hatanaka, and Tetsuya Hibino. So 2 matching GR86s in this group, one Hibino, which he drove last season, and the other one is Kordei Sobagiri, who last season drove the Q60 Infinity, which had a VR38 twin-turbo V6 out of a Nissan GTR.
さあというわけでこれグループよく見ると
That engine is now in the GR86.
ここにいるんですね。日々のそば切り2台並んで。さあというわけでまずは日々のから。
Alright, here we go. First run for Tetsuya Hibino. Big angle. Pause. Let's see.
ベテラン日々のと勢いのそば切りですから。
分かってるねっていう侵入してますよね。はい。
そうですね。
はい、分かってるねっていうお
手本のような。
してます。はい。
さあ路面状況が悪くなってきてるかもしれないという話があった中でも本当にいい走りがしてます。ちょっと今サイドブレーキはなかったかなというのはありますけれども。
攻めてますね。
はい。さあこの小刻みに
実はサイドブレーキの長さって言いましたよね。
はい。
実は3から4のつなぎの場所を
Sorry, my bad.
3の中で最大角を
Turn the volume the wrong way.
それをサイドブレーキで
Our first run for Hibino.
そのまま4に入れば逆に点数は伸びるんですよ。
角度が変わらない
変わらないから。
なるほど。
そうなんですよ。4に入ってから角度を増してしまうと4の点数が落ちるし、3の点数が落ちるんですけど。
Alright, score there 93.4. So not too bad for a wet run.
ありなんですよ。
角度が変わらなく伸ばすサイドありなんだ。
ありなんですよ。
That was pretty good.
難しい。
バラしちゃったな。
これ再生回数いっぱいいきますよ。
さ
あ日々のトップ、そしてスパゲティ広大の登場です。柴タイヤ、今シーズンもタイヤの開発をしてきました。
日々の選手は実は北海道。
Alright, second car matching in this team. Kodai Sobagiri started out learning to drift with remote control car drifting, then simulators, and now he's in D1. That's the progression in 2024.
ギリギリ踏んだような感じありましたけどね。
ここでサイドでほら伸ばしてるんですよ。角度変えてないでしょ。止めるサイドなんですよ。
なるほど。
はい。
サイドブレーキってもう本当に良くも悪くも点数
You
を
can really hear that V6 rasp coming from that GR86.
ごめんなさい、本当ごめんなさい、悪い口言っていいですか。今までの人何だったんですかね。
ここまでいけるんじゃん。
この2人すごいんですけど。
ただここです、ここだけちょっと踏んだかな。
これでもゾーン減点されてもトップ出るぐらいの走りのような気がします。
So both of the Motul Shiba Tire GR86s doing pretty well in this qualifying run. On board now with Sobagiri. So watch this second gear coming out. Eyes on that zone. Hit it eyes to the end of the connector. And not quite as good as Hibino, 93.1 for Sobagiri. Alright, here he is. The car he had back in New Zealand as a burnout car is now here in D1 Grand Prix. Here we go, Mad Mike Widdett, first qualifying run. I'm going to turn up the volume. Oh, the spin! I was thinking it would go either really well or really bad. I mean, this is his first time driving this car, and this would be his first run in this car in the wet. What he needs to do now is use the rest of this run just to get a feel for it. These ultra wet conditions. The very lightweight old Mazda RX-3. Yeah, it does look very. It's just the body barely even rolled around when he spun. It's such a light car. What a shame. Great looking car though. Great sounding car. Interesting project to see it here in D1 Grand Prix. Alright, Mike will get one more qualifying run. Hopefully he's got some something to think about now. Alright, next run, Yumito Hatanaka. Just keep it off the wall, son. That's all I'm asking. That's a very big flick there. That's way too big, way too early. And that's going to be a spin. Yeah, it doesn't look comfortable in that car at all. I know I'm being kind of rough on him, I know, but I knew he'd do it. The chat said, am I translating or is it my commentary? I mean, it's mostly mine. I mean, if I hear them say something interesting that's worth translating, I'll say, oh, Kumukubo said this. Or... Alright, so flicking it. Okay, do you want me to translate what they're saying? So on the entry, he flicked it a bit too hard there, and he's putting the car on a place in the track where nobody else is really going.
基本的にこの路面状況だったら、一番有利な車が JZX100 だと思います。
Saying that, he's saying, so what kind of car is best in these wet kind of conditions? And Kumakuba said, in these conditions, a longer wheelbase is best, like the Supra. So yeah, bigger, heavier cars. Unfortunately, the exact opposite of a Mazda 808 wagon, which has all that extra weight on the back too. I want to see Mike complete a run. Before that, here we go. Hibino's second run. Here's a bit more aggressive entry, flick entry, right on the edge of the track. Kind of dangerous there. That's a lot of angle in the wet. Hibino's got to keep his speed up. This run, Hibino showing a lot of sudden angle, but still being nice and stable doing it. This car number 18 is Hibino.
さあ、日々のこれでトップ確実です。さあ、そば切りコーダーがやってきます。現在2番。
And a score of 94 puts him in first place in this group.
カーナンバー31、そば切りコーダーが今2本目に向かっていきます。現在2番手そば切り。日々のを超えることができるか。さあ、一気に振っていきます。今度は綺麗に出しますね。そうですね。グリップするとこ行ってますね。さあ、日々の
Hibino's twin car Sobagiri. You can kind of hear the difference in the accelerator work between Hibino and Sobagiri. Sobagiri's being a bit more violent with it.
これは日々の超えですか？
ウェットとはいえ、多分ウェットの中でも日々の選手を超えてきたような気がします。
そうですね。さあ、オンボードご覧いただきましょう。かなりフロントガラスには雨粒がついてますね。さあ、ここですね。これを超えた後。
ここでさっき日野選手は滑る路面に乗って一気にケツが出ちゃったんですけど、それがないんですよね。ずっと安定させてるので。さあ、そして振り返して、 日野選手に角度があるものをそのまま4に持ち込んでるので、
Not too bad in the middle section. Started to slow down a bit towards the finish line. You can see he had to give a bit of a stab of the accelerator right there on the transition to try and get it to come around. So that the car we just saw there, Chad asking what engine, it's the VR38 from the Nissan GTR. All right, here we go. Next run. Mad Mike doing a bit of a Naoki style wheel spin on the start line there. Here we go. Let's see a run here from the RX3 wagon from New Zealand. And there we go. We got a complete run from Mad Mike in the rotary wagon. Less than ideal conditions for this car, I gotta say. He's running on 15-inch tires. It looks very responsive, but also at the same time very peaky. And there you go, scored the 84.9. That's going to be a DNQ today for Mike as well, but we're glad we saw it. I was really hoping for dry conditions. That's a shame. But still, completed run. Check. He did it. All right, next run now, Yumito Hatanaka, JZX. Less than ideal first run. Yeah, Mike's car looks so responsive and peaky. It seems like the sort of thing like if you got a bit more seat time in that car, a bit more practice, he'd be able to handle it really well. But it just looks so difficult. I mean, this will be his first time driving it in the wet, and you don't want to do that.
海道にいるけど、
雪道はしてないですか。
知ってないかもしれないですね。
さあ、畑中裕太のリプレイです。このあたりですね。ちょっと丁寧に。
That second run for Hatanaka.
置いてきすぎたので、セクター1のアウトゾーンも通れません。
Missing the outer zone there.
インも通れてない。
In zone as well, missing that.
そしてここからセクター4に対してアプローチをしていきます。このあたりはなんとか。ただ、ハンドルかなり動かしてますよね。そうですね。
もうちょっとこうリアの
That's a lot of steering work there for not a whole lot of motion.
こういう路面には対応できると思うんですけど、ちょっとやっぱステアリングに依存しているところが。
There you go. Hatanaka zone 1, zone 2, both penalties, missing those. 85.8.
畑中の話の中にちょっと僕も気づいたんですが、その車のセットアップってやっぱりすごく重要ですね。それができてるかできてないかで、ドライバーの技術が生きるか生きないか。そうですね。だから
There we go. Result from this group. Unfortunately, Mad Mike not making it through.
運転の仕方をいかに分析して、それを
But we did get to see a completed run. The first time that car has ever entered D1 Grand Prix was yesterday, but he was out there today as well. Story behind that car is great. It was the car he had when he was a young bloke back in New Zealand. It was his burnout competition car. Went through several hands and turned it into what we saw here today. Great little project. Sure, it means a lot to him.
リーダー的な存在はもうぶっちぎりの点数出しましたからね。
そうですね。そばぎり広大、そして山中真央、そして田野。
Maybe he'll be back for round 3 and 4 at Scuba Circuit. I'm hoping. It would be cool to see. Alright, everyone, we're going to be moving on to our next group very shortly.
これは別に
グループごとなので、次のグループが7になるだけなので。
D グループにとっては、そうですか、みたいな感じですよね。
ですからさっきの C グループとかの点数が別に基準になるわけではないので、
さあ、この後 D グループですが、まず先頭で出てくるのはポンちゃんですね、ポン選手ですかね。
ポンがいて、ポップがいて、
そうですね、その次はポップ選手、で松井幸雄選手、岩井照義選手というところですね。
Oh my god, I didn't meet the mic, I'm so sorry.
ポン選手も There
we go, we're back. So the wet conditions continue here at Okuibuki. We have 2 groups to go, Group D1 and D2, before we have a full qualifying field. But you're glad you aren't there today. I am today, actually. I was there last weekend for a different event called Doridore. Weather was really nice. It was like just t-shirt weather the whole day. Like t-shirt, sunscreen, hat, but you don't need to keep putting sunscreen on. Like, you know, like you don't get sweaty, so you don't have to keep putting sunscreen on. Perfect weather. It was really good. Yeah, today not so much. So for those of you who have just joined us since before, we're currently commentating from Shinjuku in Tokyo. We're at the D1 Grand Prix office. It's me, and also in the next room over, Kumakubo from ABC Circuit and also Team Orange. The D1 guys just wanted to do something a little bit different this time. We're doing the broadcast center from the office here. So all the broadcast guys who are normally at the track, you know, getting wet, getting covered in dust and having rocks thrown at them if a car spins out like at Autopolis. We're in a nice, comfortable office with a Tokyo-level internet connection. It is blazingly fast around here. It's great. We can just run everything at full speed all the time, full resolution. It's great.
レシプロエンジンよりちょっと一回り大きなターボを使いますよね。速いやつもあるので。ただやっぱりその分ちょっとピーキーになりがちなので、ウェットになるとちょっと難しさは出てくるんじゃないかな。で、まあちょっと松井選手ね、ウェットの松井って言いましたけど。
So we have 2 more qualifying groups to go. We've already run Group A, B, and C. We still have Group D to go, D1 and D2. And in that group, We have 2 of our remaining Thai drivers. We also have another rotary, Yukiya Matsui in the FD RX-7. Also Masato Kawabata. He didn't qualify yesterday. Semi Tanaka, who came 4th yesterday, I think. No, where did he come yesterday? No, he didn't. He lost. Yeah, he got knocked out in the top 16 by Yokoi. Tadokoro in the A86 and Hiroki Vito in, I kid you not, the car is listed, like where, you know, where they write the information of the car. For example, you know, Yoshifumi Tadokoro, used auto parts Tadokoro VE86 is the name of the car. Or, for example, Keiichi Nomura, Dunlop Cusco Skyline. Well, the one for Hiroki Vito, it says, Bald Eagle S13. I love it. And also in this group, the other rotary, we have remaining rotary driver here. Teruyoshi Iwai, the FC RX-7. So the FD and the FC, both together in one group. Oh, that's a great shot there. Both rotary brothers coming out in the same group. Chat says no Sayaka today. No, Sayaka did not enter round 1 and 2. When are they going to give you? When are they going to give us your face cam, Alexi? Maybe next time. Apparently, the story is, I'll give you the inside story, is so you might have noticed that we're actually, for those of you who are watching on the option channel, hello, come over to the Noriero channel. We're doing the qualifying here as well. We're doing it on my channel. They wanted to do it on my channel as well, just to see what it was like. See if we could drag some more people over to watch the D1 Grand Prix. Probably the lowest performing top level drift competition. I don't know. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe. Because no one knows it's on. Anyway, so we'll be doing the top 16. Anyway, so we'll be doing the stream this weekend. There's a meeting next week. Maybe I can get a bit more of a budget and do like my own sort of stream. And first run from Pon, unfortunately, a spin there. Yeah, and make it more of like a B stream. I don't know if any of you watch Apex Legends, like Pro League, but you know the B stream that Greek and Nice Week do? Something like that. If any of you watch that, I don't know, probably not. Rough conditions here, Pond going for an aggressive entry. Starting to get a lot of spray and collections of water on the track, little puddles here and there. All right, next one now, our remaining Thai driver, Pop. The most difficult name to say on a microphone without making that noise. There we go, aggressive. All the Thai drivers going aggressive here today. Looking good, nice and stable run so far. This could be a good score for Pop. Stable run, keeping his speed up. More speed to the transition. Kind of early there. Has to shallow up a bit and goes in deep. Yeah, that was not ideal there, but the first half of the run quite good. Nice clean run from Pop. So Kumakubo just sort of saying what I was saying during the run there. First half of the run good, but just after the connector into the final hairpin was, the angle was kind of low. It came up short and ended up having to sort of make the car go in deep to avoid missing that zone. Our next driver, Matsui in the RX-7. And Matsui, he is very good at accelerator work. Let's see how he does in these conditions. Oh, well, he's doing it. He's doing it. Yeah, very choppy angle for most of the track, but he is keeping quite a high average speed through the track. This is the sort of thing we see in the wet. When the drivers kind of get choppy when they're at angle in the wet, not in the dry, it usually means they're going faster than other cars who are just sitting stably. So this might actually be a good score. It looks very peaky too, this FDRX7. And there you go, 93.2 for Matsui. Not bad. Sorry, I'm sorry. All right, next ride, Iwai. Kumakuma saying not really that well known for driving well in the wet. We're about to find out, see if he can change that perception. Just barely hitting that zone, but he does hit it. Second tire through the zone. Shallow angle, but he's keeping his speed up. Not too bad, nice and stable. Out wide there, flick through the chicane and over the finish line. Yeah, just lacking a bit of angle for most of the track. Although, good-looking car. It's a 1980s style livery. Previously blue and white, sort of a throwback to the American IMSA RX-7.
そのあたりだけ少しこう、少しというか大きな減点ポイントはありましたけれども、岩井照義まずは1本目の走行を終了しました。この段階でどこまで行くかですよね。そうですね。全体的に悪くはないと思うんですけど。
Chat says D1GP needs a clapped out R32 driven by an Aussie. You mean the beer can?
さあ 90.4 ということで3番手。
ちょっとやっぱり一石を探りすぎ。
Anything's possible.
さあ続いてポンちゃんです。ポン選手。ち
ょっと甘く見てくれよって感じですよね。
確かに。
はい。Alright, second run. We only have a few runs to go in qualifying. This is the second run for the S15 of Pond. Wipers going at warp speed. Hits the zone, hits both zones, no problem so far. See. Keep the speed up. More angle, needs more angle, more angle. There you go. Through the zone.
中村直樹選手の場合は1本目を成功してるから2本目あれができますよね。さあ、ポン選手2本目走行終了しました。熊久保さん、この走りをいかがでしょうか。
Second run completed for Pond.
派手さはないですけど、はい。
ここですね。
全体的に角度も角度少ないですけど安定して走ってますよね。ただゾーンの位置がちょっと厳しいかな。
かすめているような感じはありますけどね。
Kumakuma is saying nothing too flashy in this run, lacking a bit of angle, but a nice, clean, stable run. First zone, just barely hit it, he said, and a 90.8 for Pond. And next in the 8.6. Pop, quite aggressive on his first run. It was exciting to see in these kind of conditions. Right, here we go. Pop, second run. Nice speed there. Nice speed right through the middle of that zone, holding this speed too. Let's see if he can get a nice flick early. More angle, more angle. Not bad from Pop.
先ほどね、セクター4のミスがありましたけども、今度はミスなく綺麗にいきました。さあ、ポップ。もう会場からスースーと、頑張れ頑張れという声がね、きっと出てると思いますけれども、さあ、そんな中、ポップの2本目、まずは決めてきました、このセクター1。
多分車のセットも
Yeah, that first corner, probably one of the best first zones that we've seen in the wet. The rest of the run, not too bad too. Next run, Matsui going for the little rolling start there to try and warm up the tyres just a little bit. Scrub them off. Here we go. Second run, Yukio Matsui, the FD RX-7 Ari Mamiya. Whoa, bit of a little understeer there. That was sketchy. The yellow front livery. That's the yellow of a chain of drugstores called Matsumoto Kiyoshi. You generally find them next to train stations in Japan. And if you remember the old yellow race cars of Ari Mamiya, that was the sponsorship. That was the color that they used back then. Right, RX-7 chassis, not always the easiest to drive. Balance on them is fairly different to most other cars. And then you throw in the wet, but okay, so not that high a score this time. He's going to throw back to his first qualifying score, puts him in first in this group. Alright, second run for Iwai. Let's see how he can do this time. Someone in chat said, Alexi, do you think DOS takes away from individual style, as in it forces everyone to try to drive the same? No. That's the whole point. Is you want to, the judges tell the drivers, drive like this. And it's a pretty high bar. Like, they're not saying to not drive well. They're saying you need to drive like this, and it's difficult. And if you can do that, the person who can do that the best, then they're at the top. And then we have the top 16 battles. And that's where the real personality comes out. Nice angle, just barely hits that zone. Remember, once again, for those of you who watched last year, it was the bodywork that needed to go over the zone. This year, the rule is that it has to be the tire, either the front tire or the rear tire. There we go, Iwai, a 92, good score. Iwai looking good, feeling good today.
さあというわけで、今 D グループの前半が終わりました。松井幸雄が 93.16、これトップ。そして、2番手が、
Alright, that is Group D1 drivers.
ポップですね。はい。ポップが2番手、3番手が岩井照義選手、そして、4
Alright,
番手
Matsui, Pop, Iwai.
さあ続いて出てくるのが
And
川端
Pon.
正人、田中誠美、田所義文、尾藤弘樹と、
これもま
た内容の濃い
メンバーですね。
川端は昨日燃料ポンプトラブルで走行できていませんが、
Triumph the Insult Dog says best looking car in the whole competition. Oh, for me? Best looking. That's a hard one. I like the simplicity of Yokoi's car.
さあただチーム東洋タイヤーズドリフトとしては、松山北斗選手は通過をしていますので、
Like some drift cars, a lot of professional drift cars look absolutely terrible because people say, well, it's not a show competition. Like, the car looks terrible, but it performs well, so it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Oh wait, we've lost a wheel? Is that why it was sitting so low? That's the A86 of Tadokoro there. That's why it was sitting so funny. I was just thinking, I was about to say, like Tadokoro's car, like it sits so high at the front and bad at the back. Like it looks like bad stance. But I didn't say that because I was like, wait, there's something wrong with that car. Uh-oh. So if he's sheared off, if he sheared off the lug nuts, that's going to be a retirement there. Looks like he's apologizing for the inconvenience.
絶対締めてると思うんですよね。もちろんこういう長年やってるチームですから。何があったのか。
Yeah, best looking. Yokoi's S15 because it performs well and it looks like a solid drift car. Like it doesn't. The wheels aren't too sunken in. It's not too high. It just looks kind of nice. You know? Naoki's S13 is just flashy and crazy, and probably Iwai's FC RX7 for that real retro, that nice retro feeling. Because it does have that, nice retro vibes. Okay, so we've got the spacer there, some lug nuts on the ground, clearing up.
ボルトが折れてることには間違いないですね。そうですね。まあワイドトレッドスペーサーを使ってるのかなあれ。でもあれトレッドスペーサーですね。そうですね。はい。でもワイドトレッドスペーサーだとすればワイドトレッドスペーサー側のボルトが折れたのか、ハブ側のボルトが折れたのかっていうところなんで。今トレッドスペーサーが取れてたからハブ側のが取れ来ました。
All right, we've got a shot of the rear axle there. Yeah, that's all 5 of them sheared off there. With that expensive endless brake rotor sitting on the ground there, and it's not ideal. So you can see the rear of this car, it's still a solid axle. It uses an axle from, which car is it? I believe it's a Previa. Like an older model Previa with the, and I can't remember what that, Chat, what's the kind of suspension called? It's a solid axle in the rear, and it has 2 arms on the center of the diff, one going left at the top, one going right at the bottom, or the other way around. What's that called? Chat, help. I'm sure there's mechanics in chat. You know what I'm talking about. What's that style of rear suspension called? I'm going to have to look it up now. Still running a solid axle as well. Yeah, I know. No, not Z. No, not 4. Watts link. There you go, Andrew. Thank you. Yeah. It's a Watts link rear end. There you go. Yep. Chat got it. A few other people got it. Andrew got it first. Watts link. Yeah, it's a Watts link rear end.
ちなみにせっかくこの時間もあるのでまだ全ては決まったわけじゃないですけど今の段階で解説の人って聞いても多分 A グループ走り
If you don't know what that is, go look it up.
そうですね。
Just type in Watts link.
A グループは A グループですごい。
I guess Watts link suspension.
そうなんですよ。
なかなかただまあここまでの走りをご覧いただいて、追走で面白い走りをしそうな選手。今日の路面の中で。そうです。私的には、そば切り。
Unfortunately, the Gojacks have made their appearance again today.
中村直樹。
So we're missing an entire wheel though, so they're going to have to put a dolly under that or something and drag the car off the track. That's a shame there from Tadokoro, and non-qualify yesterday and non-start today. You can see there, those are the holes there. Yeah, that's pretty nasty there. The bolts have been completely ripped out. The holes are all wallowed out, and the endless brake rotor has been rubbing on the ground.
運転の仕方を全車頭に入れといて、でそのスタイルを頭に入れといて、このドライバーの場合は1コーナーは無理して入らない。でもその後で入るとか。逆にはこのドライバーは
So we found some debris on the track just before. There was a spacer and some various hardware. So I mean, it can happen sometimes. Someone forgets to do things up properly. Not ideal. As you can see.
どういうところを見るとそれがいけそうなんですか。
車の運転のさせ方というか、車のバランスも含めて。
Chat said, are you there in person or watching remote? We are in Tokyo. We're in Shinjuku right now at the D1 Grand Prix offices. Yeah, doing something a little bit different this time. I would like to be there. I mean, I wouldn't like to be there in the wet, obviously. It's kind of nasty and cold. But I would like to be there. But then again, I don't want to have to drive 6 hours back to Tokyo tonight from there. I could just get the train home. Get some nice food in Shinjuku and then get the train home.
中村直樹ですからね。テンションしか上がらないですからね。
もちろん多分運転的には中村直樹が一番筆頭だと思うんですけど。
Chat said that's a weird system. Are those common in production cars to have Watts Link or are they usually custom? No, there's quite a few cars. It's a sort of a 1970s, 80s thing. I think first gen RX-7s had them too, had a Watts Link. Various Toyota wagons had them as well, and some people in chat said that Mustangs had them too.
高いですね。で、安定感も高い。だからもちろんそのずば抜けた
I believe the reason that Tadakoro is using that particular rear end is because it can take a big differential.
しやすい車。で、あとはそのドライビングスタイル。田野君のドライビングスタイルが
How big that is, I don't know, but it's definitely bigger than the standard
もちろんこれ
A86 diff.
この後走ってくれば、また横井選手がここに入ってくると思うんですけど、ちょっとね横井選手昨日からいまいちこう。安定感がない。
Oh, there you go. Chat is correcting chat. They don't come with Watts Link. From 15 onwards, have independent. 5 to 14 have solid axle with panhard bar. But what about before that, though? Like older ones.
あとはまあもちろんね、そば切り選手とかすごい走りをしているので、まあこれが後追い時にもこれができるかどうかっていうところが結構、まあもちろんこれ単走なんでね、そこに集中して走ってるんでああいう走りをしたと思うんですけど。
That's right, a big D in the rear. That's what you want.
あれでいけたらもう多分ね、拍手です。
そうですね。
ただ、
to handle all that
高い走りをしているので、
motion
この辺がどうかなっていう
and power.
あとは松山選手が
Chad said, is there a Toyota Century drift car? I have seen one once. I saw it at Nikko Circuit one time. It was white. The interior was completely stripped out. Actually did pretty good. It did pretty good. It wasn't great, but it did pretty good. And I never saw it again.
よっちゃんさんから、ミスターがケップチ松川選手でお願いしますっていうね解説をミスターがケップチなんですか彼は。ミスターがケップチなんですかね。そんなことないと思うんですけどね。
I'm pretty sure I may have photos of it on my old vlog. Sorry, blog, like my old WordPress blog, somewhere. I don't know. I'd have to go and find it.
肝にはなってくると思うんですが。これウェットになってくるとその皆さん角度がなかなかつかないとかドスの点数が安定してこないと思うんです。はいはい。そういう中では逆に前の選手が角度を
Rugged Observer, thank you for the super chat. Are you a fan of Soras? They're just sort of not my thing. Like it's not like that whole like Sora. What other cars? Like Sora, Leopard, you know, Accord, like all those sorts of cars. Yeah, not really my thing. Not my thing. If you said to me, okay, you have to buy a Sora, which one will you buy? Like one of the older ones, I'd say. And just have it as a street car, like just to like drive around on weekends. I think would be cool. Just not my style. If I did have one, it'd be an older one, and I would have like a really big air freshener on the dash. And like some really fat old school like 14-inch wheels or something on it. Chat said, I thought I saw a Century in one of your Dori Dore videos. No, that would have been a 15 series Crown that you're thinking of. It looks it's like a Century that got put into the hot water wash and dryer and shrunk down. That was a long way to explain that. Yeah, you're thinking of a a 15 crown. Not a 2015, like a 15 series crown. Triumph the Insult Dog says, oh, thank you for the super chat. I will be in Shinjuku in a few days. What do you recommend to do there? Whoa. Oh, boy. Boy. What do you recommend to do in Shinjuku? I can recommend more things of what... Put it this way. I can recommend more things of what not to do than what to do. That's the kind of place it is. Here's not what to do. If anybody comes up to you on the street while you're walking around in Shinjuku, especially in Kabukicho, and says, I'll just say it in just regular English, hey, come to my bar, first shot is free. Hang on, director came in, 1 second. Okay, understood. Okay, so the director just came in and told me something interesting they've decided to do. What we're going to do is, now I don't know the precedent or the rules or anything, but we're going to rerun Group A in wet conditions because it became wet halfway through. Now, I don't know what the rule is. I'm sure there's a rule or something like that. I don't know if we've ever done that before. Have we done that before or not? I can't remember that happening before. But there's going to be a rerun as soon as we're done with Group D, which is... so we're almost at the end of qualifying. We're going to rerun Group A so that everybody ran in wet conditions. You know who's going to be really happy about this? Daigo Saito, because he didn't qualify in Group A. He's going to be happy about that. It seems it's fair. I mean, see, that's why they do that system where if it starts to rain halfway through, they change qualifying to be the top 4 from each group, just so each group is running in similar conditions as much as we possibly can. Because you do want parity. You want everyone to have the same run at the track if possible. So we're running Group A again after we finish Group D2. So in Group D2 we're only going to have 4 drivers, Kawabata, Tanaka, and Vito. Yeah, so anyway, just going on what I was saying before, if you go to Shinjuku and you go to Roppongi, Roppongi too, actually. That's a different part of Tokyo, but Kabukicho, Roppongi, Shinjuku, Shibuya, anything like that. If someone comes up to you on the street and says, hey, I've got a bar, come to my bar, there's girls there, I'll give you a free shot first, do not go. Don't go. You will wake up next day with a hangover and your credit card emptied out. Don't go. To further that, if you go to you're at somewhere and some girl says to you, oh, hey, come back to, I just finished work, I'm going to my friend's bar, come there, don't go. Don't be taken anywhere. Is the best advice. Are you telling from experience? Hasn't happened to me. It's happened to far too many people I actually know. No, not me. I'm not that dumb. I'm not that silly. But see, the problem is, you come here on holiday and you think, oh, everything's safe, everything's fine, everything's all right, and you let your guard down. Whereas, I lived here, so I was sort of, yeah.
本当に当たり前のようですけど、見せても分かると思うんですけど、すごく滑るようにはなるんですよ。ただ、それも得意とか不得意ももちろんあると思うんですけど、やっぱ
That's it. No secondary locations.
滑れば滑るほどコントロールはしやすいかなと思ってます。はい。で、
You know who's honestly the best people to drink with? Or sorry, I shouldn't say that. The best people to go to enjoy nightlife with is like middle-aged men. I know it's kind of the opposite of the kind of people that probably most of you want to hang out with, but they'll pay for everything. They'll recommend stuff. Oh, hey, have you ever tried you know, whatever, and it'd be like, have you ever tried horse meat? And he's like, no. They go, oh, and they'll order it. Here, try this. Or, oh, what do you want to eat? And they'll just buy it for you. And they'll drunkenly try their English on you. It's great. That said, it's probably not the top people that most of you want to hang around with, but that said, you know, just be open.
さすがでした。そしたらまたぜひインタビューさせてください。本戦引き続きよろしくお願いします。
はい、わかりました。わざわざね、出てきていただいて答えていただいた。
Andrew, to answer your question though, I mean, you just walk around, look at stuff. You know, if you see something that looks interesting, go have a look at it.
ウエット路面の中でやっぱりよく見えるのはスピードをねある程度出していかないとというところがあるんですが、出しすぎるとやはりね横もダメになってしまうんで、とはいえその中で
Just be aware that
かなり速い速度で日比野選手上回るね
you know, places are kind of different. Generally, if you go somewhere to drink, if it's not a regular bar, usually you'll sit down like a sort of in izakaya. You'll sit down. They might bring you a little appetizer, and that costs maybe $4 or $5. Like it's your seating fee basically. And then after that, so just be aware like, oh, we're only paying this much because we ordered this much. There might be some extra little charges. That's normal. That's pretty normal. And here's another thing too. Here's another thing. If you go in a place and there's like seats open and they say nowhere full, there's probably a reason for it. Like there's usually reasons for it. For example, like if it's a small place especially, just say for example, I'll give you an example. A regular called ahead and said, hey barman, I'm coming in with 3 of my friends. Can you have 4 seats open for us? I'm going to get there at 10 o'clock. So when you come in, you go, oh, no, we're full. It's because there's people coming, there's regulars coming. Or, for example, they might have already gone past order. For example, if a place closes at 11, they might take their last order at 10:30, and that gives them time to, people to finish their drinks and food and for them to clean up. So you might go in, it's like, it says you close at 11. It's like, no, we're not taking any orders anymore. Just things like that. So just basically next. Any friction, next. Because there's a million places. Dyslexic Turtle says, can confirm middle-aged men were super nice when I went. Got given multiple drinks and even a couple gifts. There you go. Oh, here's a good one too. Here's a good trick. Even just say you've found a food that you like you go to izakayas, right? And you go drink with people, whatever. And there's a food that you like, and it's like something sort of Japanesey or whatever, or something odd. You just say it's on the menu. You go, oh hey, I haven't tried this before. They'll order it for you. Anything you want, just say like, oh, I've never had that before. Is it good? And they'll order it for you. It's great. It's a great hack when you're young and broke, like I was. Because oh god, you know how it is right now? American dollar, what is it now? 50 something yen? It's crazy. When I came over here first. Here we go, we're getting into story time now. When I came over here first was in 2008, and that was bang on the GFC, right? I had all my savings in Australia. I'd saved up all this money. I sold my cars. I, took extra time. I didn't spend it. I didn't go out. Broke up with my girlfriend. Did it. Nothing. Just no more spending money. Wanted to save up. And looking at the yen, it was like 103. I was like, beautiful, I can get over there. I can buy a sweet drift car straight away. I'm going to get a JZX. I'm going to do all this stuff. As soon as I come over, GFC, my savings halved. It went from 103 yen to the Australian dollar to, at the minimum, 54. And I just get up every day, I look at the exchange rate and go, I'm not even going out today. So there you go. We all have our struggles. But if you come to Tokyo, you don't have to do everything because I guarantee you'll be back. Everyone comes back. Everyone comes back.
これ走れば走るほど、そこの水がなくなってきて、
水が一回はけますからね。少しは水が減ってくる。
Well, slow these models. It's not so much that it's like desperate for companionship. It's like
変わらないですね。はい。
it's like you know that whole single serving friend thing. It's like they're not going to see you again, and you're something different, and they can just be themselves without being judged. And generally, you know, foreigners are quite friendly to Japanese people when they're friendly back. So it's sort of that sort of thing.
さあ、尾藤弘樹はこれ最後の最後ですからね。
はい、一番最後です。
誰をノックアウトするのか。さあ、どうなってくるか。ただまあこの
Yeah, line up a trip to D1 Grand Prix at the same time.
はい。
A diver.
そうですね。この3人ね、3人。
Oh man, it must be cold and miserable there. It looks like the crowd has kind of thinned out a bit. Maybe some people got up this morning and went, nah, we're not going. We're not going to drive 2 hours all the way up to Okuibuki, sit in the rain all day. Although, speaking of a diver, though, when we had bad weather there, everyone just sits there the whole day. Hardcore in the freezing cold rain. Everyone just sits there. All right, next driver, Masato Kawabata. We are back to qualifying. Already thinking of the $5 super. I'll get to that in a minute. All right, here we go. Back to qualifying. Masato Kawabata did not qualify yesterday. He's going to want to qualify today. He's a multiple D1 Grand Prix champion who did not qualify. All right, looking good, nice and smooth. Well, we're getting big puddles on the track now. And over the finish line. Okay, let's watch this run from Kawabata. Very, very small feint there to nice angle straight away. Gets a bit more and more as he hits the zone. Nice and stable, but still holding decent speed. So build up speed through the connector. The rear tire spins faster. And there we go, 92.4. Decent score for Kawabata. All right, next run. OG of the S15, Semi Tanaka, 2JZ. He got knocked out yesterday by his old rival Yokoi in the best 16. Really on and off the throttle there, keeping the wheel spinning, gripping, spinning, gripping. Not bad angles. Probably one of the biggest angles we've seen through the outer zone 1 there. Chat said, is this the guy with the Infinity Coupe? No, that's Sobagiri, and he's currently in a GT86. Sorry, GR86. All right, here he is. Hiroki Vito. He's half Filipino, which is why his name is Vito. In the Bald Eagle S13. It's not a V8 though. First qualifying run. Finally, he's probably been waiting so long. Last qualifying driver. All right, looking good. Nice and smooth. A little bit wide there. Got to build that speed up. That's not a bad run there. Kept his good speed through the entire course too. A 92.4 for Vito, not bad.
現在3番手ですから、これちょっと伸ばしておかないと怖いですね。
そうですね、もうちょっと。
Next run, Kawabata just not on it this weekend. He's going for big angle. Starts to understeer a bit.
予選に対してしっかりと組み立てがある川端正人。
この辺のね、ゾーンを通過する角度とラインが素晴らしいですね。でここもサイドで同じ角度なのが4に入る。
日々の選手と同じような。いやここはしっかりと研究しています川端正人。これは点数どうですか、伸びてきますか？
そうですね。
Japanese commentator saying, "Do you think he can make it into the best 16?"
多分そのふらつきとかがウェットケース。
He went for a big flick there and just kind of pulled out of it a little bit. He checked up, but did it in a very good way, nice and clean.
高得点になるんじゃないですかね。
そうですね。はい。さあそして今リアスさんから500円、支配人のインプレッサが歴代 D1 車両の中で一番好きなのですが、一番愛情のあったマシーンは、愛着のあったマシーンはありますか？
インプレッサです。
インプレッサ。
はい。
インプな。
インプレッサ。
Someone over in the Japanese chat, super chatting, saying to Kumakura that they liked his Impreza. Back in the day, Kumakura saying that, yeah, that was his favorite car. Oh, and there you go, 92.4. Kawabata improved his score. I'm sure he's happy about that.
さあ今度は田中聖美はちょっと難しい位置にいます。現在6番手。
ちょっと上げていきたいですね。上げられそうな感じはしますよね。
そうですね。
Right, second run, Semi Tanaka.
つけました。今度はつけました。ゾーンいかないパターン。ゾーンいかないパターン。
Oh, it looks like he may not have hit that zone.
ゾーン1のアウトクリップ。
も外しちゃいました。
ちょっとやっぱり1本目で点数が入ってないのが、
そうですね。やっぱ
精神的にも。
I don't know about that run. Maybe not quite as good as the one we just saw from Kawabata.
伸ばすことができないか。さあどうでしょうか。
ちょっとね減点がゾーン2つありますからね。
そうですね。
On-board shot. This is Semi Tanaka on board.
追走解説トリプルアクセル松川さんとモヒカンさんで。
Oh, and Semi Tanaka zone 1 and zone 2 missing those, getting penalties. Yesterday just barely making it into the top 16. Today not looking so good. Alright, last driver in Group D. The Bald Eagle S13, Hiroki Vito.
最後の最後、追走を考えるといい順位で、
そうですね。
はい、残っておきたいので点数は上げたいところです。尾藤弘樹です。
そこを狙ってる方なのかな。
そうですね。
Stars and bars on the suit, shooting stars on the car. Clean run.
さあどうでしょうか。
Will it score well though? This is so hard. This would be really hard to judge this. As a human judge, I was really thankful for the computerized judging system. It knows all and sees all.
点差が開きそうだったじゃないですか。走りを見ても。でもドライの時ってそれが点数に結構反映されたんですけど、ウェット意外に反映されてない。
Might be an odd thing to say. His wet run looks like sort of an average dry run, if you know what I mean. Like it just looks like it's sort of a slowed down dry run. That puts him in third place in this group with a 90.6. That would have been his score from his previous run.
いいかもしれないですよ。
どこかしらそういう希望を持って僕言ったんですけど、本当にそうなりそうですね。
本当にそうなりそうですね。
さあというわけで D グループ走行終了しました。見事トップ。
Right, there you go. First 4 drivers from each group. So you might notice the left column has been reset. That is because we are rerunning Group A so that every driver has done their qualifying in the wet. Because it started to get a full wet about 3/4 of the way through Group A, and then from Group B onwards was a full wet.
でも先ほどちょっと熊久保さんおっしゃってましたけど、熊久保さんの見立てとしてはどのあたりが、
理由聞いてないんですけど、もしかすると、A グループの途中で、ウェット制限出ましたよね。で A グループの後半の途中だったんですよ。後半のまた途中で出たんで、A グループの後半
So the scores there, EY unfortunately in the FC RX7 not making it through in Group D.
やり直ししなくちゃいけなかったと思うんですよね。
なるほど。これ今来ました。今
So for those of you who have been joining us over the past couple of hours, welcome to D1 Grand Prix. Wait, I'm going to run an ad so we don't get an ad when we have the actual runs. Okay, here we go. Okay, now we won't get one during the battles. D1 Grand Prix, first and second round this weekend. This is the second round, Sunday. It's currently 12:41 in the afternoon. So the way the judging is working today is we're using the DOS judging system. It's the computerized judging system that D1 has been using for several years now. It uses a small unit which is installed in the car, which transmits the car's speed, slip angle, position, all that sort of stuff back to a central computer. And each course in D1 Grand Prix has a series of sectors and zones that are set up. And each of those zones is judged differently. Some of them are weighted more heavily towards cars transitioning or flicking their angle. Some are more biased towards holding big, long, consistent angle. And programmed into that computer is what is a theoretical perfect 100 score, which is achievable. It's not impossible. Now, we did see a 100.9 yesterday from Naoki Nakamura. And the drivers are briefed on that. And they go out and do their best run according to that. And also at the same time, make sure they put at least one of their tires through the zones on the track that are marked in chalk. We do have human judges watching the judging as well, giving out penalties, applying blame from collisions and things like that. Also giving for things like half spins, big understeers and things like that. Penalties which take away their points. That's how it works. Okay, let's just scroll back up. There was a super chat before. Ori Felix says, I'm hitting up Japan. Oh, in 2025. What time of year does the biggest Itasha Tengoku event happen? I can't seem to find out from the website or anything. Okay, well, they haven't announced it yet, Ori, but if you go to... Let me look it up. Actually, I can just put it in chat. Probably the easiest way.
そして、今、剛富岡さんありがとうございます。200円。使えるタイヤ本数は変わるのですが、これ変わらないですね。
変わらないと思います。まあ、ウェット減らないんでね、タイヤがね。
そうですね。まあ、朝申請をした、タイヤの本数。今これ8本。4セット。6本。
There you go.
4セットか3セット。調べておきますね。多分後でまた発表します。発表じゃない。
That's the website, but also follow them on Twitter, and they announce it later on in the year when they do it. But it's usually on at the same time it was this year, which was a few weeks ago.
そうなんですよ。
この中での4人を決めるってちょっと
辛いですね。
残酷ですね。
残酷ですね。
Okay, so what we are doing right now is rerunning Group A qualifying for the sake of parity. Now, I don't know what the exact rule is when it comes to doing this sort of thing, or who decides, or what the actual rule in the rule book is. I am sure there is one, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. But because it started raining about halfway through Group A, and then continued raining the entire time, we're rerunning the qualifying in Group A so that all of the drivers get the same track conditions, so we have fair qualifying. So rerunning Mekawa here in the BMW. That car's making a weird noise. Anyone else hear that noise? It's sort of a whining noise. Actually, we don't have it in the replay. And one driver which will be happy from this rerun is Daigo Saito. Yesterday, second place, and today did not qualify because it started raining. Was it because of star rating? I don't know. Well, he didn't qualify, so he'll be happy about that.
茂木選手、スポッターが息子さんなんですってね。
あ、そうなんですか。
息子さんなんですって。家族で、理由は楽しんでらっしゃいます。さあ、茂木武史、息子さんの前でいい走りを見せることができるでしょうか、お父さん。さあ、やってきます。
Sorry, chat.
まあ、茂木選手も本当に経験は長いですから。
Oh, Takeshi Mogi. Second run. He has a chance this time. This is actually a good run. Oh, he missed the zone. No, I'll take it back. I'll take it back.
やる場所にもよるんですけど、場合によっては躍動性というか振り幅が大きくなるので、点が伸びる場合があります。
Right, first rerun there for the S15 of Mogi. You know, it's a shame. If Mad Mike was in Group A, we'd be seeing him run again and he'd have another chance. It's a shame.
躍動性みたいのは多分ポイントが上がると思うんですよね。
Alexi instant commentator curse. I do what I can. I didn't jinx it.
ゾーン4に関してはもうほぼほぼ問題ない。はい。さあこの辺りはしっかりと走り切りました茂木武史。さあまずは1本目の点数どうでしょうか。ここですね。はい、さあゾーン1ちょっと角度がつきすぎて戻すような感じになりましたが、それでも 92.5 点。
これゾーンを外しても92点ってこと。
Oh, that was actually a good run. He would have got a 94.
はい、そうですね。
All right.
さあ村上充登場です。
The tennis ball is back. Mitsuru Murakami gets a rerun. He's also in Group A. Looking nice and stable in these conditions. Really interesting to see how the tandem will play out later on today. It looks like the wet conditions are here to stay.
Well, 大きい角度はついてないんですけど、角度の安定性がすごい高いですよね。はい。
さあそして93.3ということで点数がありました。
セクター2がいいです。
My apologies again.
29.91。はい。
あれで多分次セクター3のフリーホー。
Right, not a bad run from Murakami.
さあ続いて久保川澄香。
So once again, all of these drivers rerunning Group A, so that every driver has run through a wet condition. It's a second chance for all the drivers that didn't qualify. Here we go, Kubokawa, high chew 180. Oh, she's going to miss the zone. She did that before as well. All right, Sumika Kubokawa, the only lady driver in the competition this weekend. Sayaka Shimoda not entering round 1 and 2.
そうですね。ちょっと全体的に角度が少なかった感じがします。
So Sumika lacking a bit of angle, I gotta say.
ゾーンセクター3も悪いそうですね。点数が。
さあ89.1点ということで点数の。
And it's a zone penalty there, so it looks like she might not end up qualifying even after the rerun.
入ってますか？
走りやすくなってると思います。
同じ部屋に泊まってる2人ですからね。
All right, next run. Yokoi.
でも速さがありますね。
Yokoi doing really well yesterday, although getting knocked out by Daigo Saito. And Yokoi ending up 3rd yesterday. So you can just hear Kumakubo just there saying, dame like, as in, dame, or no, or that's no good, or you can't do that. There are judge rules about throwing it too hard over the finish line in order to try and cheese the absolute maximum amount of angle points as you go over the finish line. It should be okay. I don't think that would be a penalty. Oh, he got a penalty. They gave him one. Why wouldn't they have given him one? But they gave him. Actually, no. Come to think of it, that's probably exactly why that rule was made. So throwing it too hard over the finish line, and I mean that was kind of a half spin. All right, second run. Mekua. He's taking a nice line there. Able to keep a lot of speed. It's the line enabled him to carry a lot of speed around the first reducing radius corner. A little bit understeery, this car's set up, but looks like he's handling it well. Mekua, nice drift in his second qualifying run.
水の少ないラバーの少ないグリップするところを通してるんで車速も上がってきてて、でゾーンもしっかり取ってる、で第3セクターもこの振り返しのところで一発で角度を決めてそれを維持して4に持ってきてる、悪くないと思います。はい、
さあメクワ幸次郎の2本目走行がね今終わりましたけど、メクワ選手がこの目の前カメラの前で通過するとなんか共鳴音みたいのが、なんかすごい独特な音に感じますけど、メクワ選手だけがその音がする。さあ
アウト側の白いラインってあるのかな、ちょっとわかんないですけど、
アウト側の白い
あるんです
よ。
それがラインアウトを取られてるかどうかを、さあ
91.1。これはメクワ点数は
ラインオフですね。ラインオフがやっぱ取られてるんですね。
Sector 2 line off, so he went over the edge of the track in Sector 2. I guess that wide line to try and keep speed didn't pay off. All right, second run, Takeshi Mogi. Last chance for the weekend. Whoa, right to the edge of the track. Losing was that the entire bumper he'd lost? Or a section of the bumper or the lower part? Okay, so that wasn't the bumper, that was the banner on the wall. Now, one downside you could say about this drifting, this is a real judging point here in Japan, what they call kaku-kaku, where you see the angle sort of goes a bit more angle, 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 stop. Bit more angle, stop. Bit more angle, stop. That's really, really looked down upon, not only by the DOS system, by human judges as well. So watch this. Yeah, rips the... I don't know which sponsor was that. Couldn't tell, but still though. Replay's a little bit choppy too. And a penalty for ripping that sponsor banner off the wall. I know, it's for the contact for the wall. Looks like controller drifting. That's a pretty accurate way of putting it, yeah. We only have a couple of runs to go until we end qualifying, so we'll make sure Mr. Sponsor, we'll get that sponsor banner out there later. Don't worry.
チームを組んでメカニックたちが、まあまあ本当に村上選手を知り尽くしているメカニックたちが集まっているので、
なるほど、そういうことですね。さあ村上充の2本目の走りに注目をしていきたいと思います。リペアクリエイト。
Here we go, the last serve of the tennis ball. Hey, that's what chat called it. Mitsuru Murakami, Toyota GR86. Repair, create with result, Japan. What a name for a sponsor.
さあリプレイご覧いただきます。
Alright, not too bad. Actually, chat, I think I found something for you. Hang on a sec. D1 GP rounds 5 and 6. These are old.
ちゃんと頭を使って先を考えての走行をしていると。まあでも本当に現在予選トップですから、まあ無理はすんなよと。そうですね。ここで車を
Oh, wait, I know. So give me a sec, I'm just looking something up.
さあ村上充の2本目、今リプレイをご覧いただいています。さあでも点数出るまで少し時間かかってますか。
There we go. Found it. Copy. Sorry, I'm not even paying attention. I'm doing something very important. There you go, chat. That's the link to all the race queens for this round. There you go. Right, second run, Sumika Kubikawa. Kind of lacking in angle in her first run. This car doesn't really look too comfortable in the wet. And over the finish line. I'll pin that. I don't think, no, I can because this is my channel. I can do that. I can't do it on the D1 channel. Wait, I'll do it again. Oh wait, the keyboard's in Japanese mode. Nice.
セクターさんのまっすぐがなければもっと。
そうですね。まあでもやはりその角度を抑えている分全体的にスピードが高いのもあるんでしょうか。そうですね。さあ久保川澄子これで3番手に入ってきました。後半の選手の走りによってどこに位置するかというところですね。さあ
次は横井選手ですか。
次はそうです。この後出てくるのは横井、斉藤、上野、藤野、加納です。はい。
多分2本目、横井の2本目、さっきね、すごくいい走りしたんだけど、まさかの最後ハーフスピンで終わってしまった。
There you go.
はい。
まあよかった。
This is also my job.
あ、この後横井選手もう一回あるのか。
そうです、もう一回あるんですね。
そうですね。
2本目があるんで。
そうか、そうだ。だから
横井選手、昨日もね、横井選手1本目失敗して。追い込まれた状態で2本目でやっぱ点数伸ばしきれなかった。まあ通ってはいたんですけど、伸ばしきれなかったですよね。
そうですね。さあただ今コース上走行止まっていますが、なんでですかね。横井選手にとっては嫌なインターバルになってきました。
タイヤが多少熱は入ってますからね、1本走ってるんで。
今コース上何かチェックしている
マーシャルさんいますね。なんかオイル漏れとかの可能性はありますね。今例えば前走った車、久保川選手なのか、村上選手なのか、メカワ選手なのか。
Okay, so we're almost done with qualifying. So what we're doing right now, if you just joined us, is rerunning Group A. Because it started to rain just as Group A was about halfway through. And it remained wet the entire time. So in order to give everybody the same chance at the track and comparable score, comparable, I don't know if that's a word, comparable score, we're rerunning Group A. The guy who's going to be happy about that is Daigo Saito, because he did not qualify in Group A. even though he came second yesterday in round 1 here at Okuibuki.
はい。
ひょっとしたらなんかちょっとこうビデオ判定するのに厳しいから見やすくしときましょうみたいな感じもあるのかもしれませんけど、ただ間違いなく横井選手にとっては今いらないライン引きですね。
このタイミングはね。
タイミングちょっとあんま良くないですね。まあこれも競技なんでって言っちゃえばそこまでなんですけど。
またこの白線の石灰の量によってゾーンがぬるっとする可能性が。
そうですね。
でね、ドライバーはね、走る前にいらぬことを考えるんですよ。
確かに。
もしかしたらぬるっとしたらどうすんだよとか、いろいろね。
Looks like they're just doing a quick track inspection, repairing the zone chalk lines. Looks like maybe there was something on track.
まあまあさすがにスタート前ってあんまり携帯見てないんですけど。
So investigating a potential oil spill.
今こう D1 って乗り込んだら携帯見ちゃいけないんですよね。
あ、そうなんですね。
多分。今そんなルールがあって、前回それで誰かペナルティを食らった記憶があります。
本当ですか？はい。やっぱり何か処理するんですね。
オイルが。
で時間があるからラインを引いてるんだ。
そういうことか、そういうことか。
まあそれはそうですよね。はい。でもこれじゃ誰が出したのって話ですよね。しかもあんまり僕らが思うライン関係ないですね。
その位置って誰も走ってないですよね。
Just heard Kumakubo say something interesting. Apparently, the drivers are no longer allowed to watch the live stream on phones in the cars anymore. Because they used to do that. Apparently, they're not allowed to do that anymore. Wet chalk lines are better than dry chalk lines. They last longer. I think it's funny when you see the cars go over the fresh chalk lines and you just get, especially in slow motion, you see there's a big chalk line on the tire as it spins around. Alexi, who is your favorite YouTuber and have you met them before? Who's my favorite YouTuber? I don't know. I don't know. Who do I watch a lot? Who do I regularly watch? I don't know. I mean, I've met a lot of YouTubers, obviously. Like maybe who's the biggest one I've ever met? Like with the most subs? Probably, I don't know, Adam LZ probably. I mean, even not in the car world, who's probably the biggest one I've met? Here's a funny thing. I went to, like back in the day, this is how, oh my God, this is how things are so different now. I once went to a YouTube party, like I guess a YouTube meeting or party in Tokyo. This is how much things have changed, okay? Back in the day, I had like 120,000 subs. This is several years ago. This is a long time ago. Maybe like, I don't know, 9 years ago? I don't know, 8 years ago, something like that. Anyway, I had 120,000 subs. I got a call from YouTube Japan, like Google, in the middle of Roppongi, in like the biggest, most expensive building in Roppongi, all that sort of stuff. And they said like, it was this English-speaking Japanese girl, like perfect English. She said like, we'd like to have you in and have a meeting with you because we think your channel has a lot of potential. We'd like to, you know, hear what you have to say and, you know, give you some advice and all this sort of stuff. I was like, I have been summoned to YouTube. And I wasn't really doing it that seriously, but I was just sort of putting stuff up, you know. So I went there. And it was great. It was that whole, you know, tech thing like, oh, you want, you know, there's free food and drinks and ping pong and bean bags and whatever. And, you know, we had this little meeting and she printed out all this information because this is before, like, the statistics in Google were really, like, now there's a lot of analytics you can look at. Like, the actual pros get even more complicated tools that they can use, but we get pretty good tools that we can analyze with. And, you know, she printed out all this stuff and gave it to me. She said, like, oh, you do really good here. You know, you do really good here. Like, we think you should do more of this, or we think you should do that. I just basically just had a consultation with them telling me that. With 120,000 subs, you probably couldn't get that level of service unless you had at least, like, 3 or 5 million now, probably. It's so different. But, yeah, they still have them now. No, wait, they don't have them anymore. Yeah, they don't have them anymore. They used to have YouTuber, like, meetings, and you had to have a certain amount of like it was like 100,000 subs over YouTube like parties, I guess. And I went to a couple of those. It was interesting. Yeah, it was in many ways. It was interesting. Yeah.
一応基本的には年間で
I think I'm like there were a bunch of like famous Japanese YouTubers there, but I didn't really know who they were. Like that guy, like what's his name, PDW San or whatever it is. Like I recognized him. But I met just a bunch of other random people, and yeah, it was just interesting. There were no other car people there though. That was the thing. It was all like regular like hey guys, YouTubers, or like like I was an American guy, I think it was. He was like a surfing YouTuber. That sort of thing. Yeah, it was interesting. Anyway. Alexi, the people have spoken. Lol. What have the people said? I wasn't reading chat.
畑中選手の時に話がありましたけれども、メカニックがドライバーに対してどういうマシンを作ればいいかっていうのが分かっていると、ドライバーとしても行きますもんね。そういった意味では今回上野貴弘選手は非常に力強い。
Who's the Japanese Mr. Beast? Well, there's not really a Mr. Beast. I guess there's the Japanese PewDiePie is a guy called Hikakin. You know, like a gamer / variety. He's probably the biggest one. Is there even anywhere good for surfing in Japan? I mean, people who surf here will say, oh, yeah, there's good places. I don't think there are. Like, there's no good... I've never seen good, like, surfing waves, like, actual... I mean, this is someone coming from Australia, so I guess the standards are kind of different.
眠くなってきたそうです。
ちょっと寝るよ。いい？
花部さん寝ても大丈夫ですか？
あ、いいですよって寝てくださいってゆっくり。
耳栓してたらあんま聞こえないんだけど。もうゆっくりそのまま。あ、どうです？ゆっくり寝ててください。
Technically, PewDiePie is the Japanese PewDiePie now. That is correct. That is true. That is actually true.
緊張すると人って眠くなるんですね。
そうですね。自分も D1 選手の頃によくスターターに窓叩かれて起こされたことあります。
ですよね。はい。バケットシートも本当にこうホールド性があって包まれてるような感じがね。
はい。すぐ眠くなるんですよ。
South Yokohama looks good for surfing. Yeah, that sort of area down there. I think around Tokyo, the biggest places are like that sort of. What's it called? I can't remember the actual name of that area, but yeah, that's sort of south of Yokohama, like Yokosuka. Also over in Chiba, some of the beaches that face the Pacific Ocean. Probably the two places around Tokyo where you can surf. But I knew an American guy who used to live down near there, and he surfed.
さあ、チェック走行があったのは嬉しいですけれども、ただセクター4、ゾーン4に対してのアプローチの部分がちょっと心配。
これでいうと、A グループの最後の後半の4人は、ウォームアップがあるんで、それであそこを飛ばすことができるんですよ。
そうですね。
でも横井選手の場合1人なので、あそこを飛ばしきれてない。
All right, we should be sending out our last group of drivers.
ちょっと多分映像で確認してますよね。確認してあそこをあえて通ってない感じがします。
We've got Yokoi coming up to the start line. So in this next group, Yokoi, Daigo, Saito, Takahiro Ueno, Hideyoki Fujino, and Hiroki Kano remaining in this group.
遠心力働くんで点は出るんです。
さあ、横井の走りに注目です。さあ、ちょっとインターバルがあって非常にドライバーとしては難しい状況の中ですが、横井正史決めることができるでしょうか。
All right, here we go. First run, Yokoi. Third place yesterday. First run was a bit of a miss. Let's see how he does this time in the wet. Looking very good so far. Nice and smooth. Not bad. Not a bad run from Yokoi. And cleanly over the finish line this time. No weird half spins, thank you. Not bad. As you'd expect from a driver like Yokoi.
さすがギャラクシーとか、もう本当に見てる人結構詳しいですよね。
Alexi, if you had the chance, would you visit other countries to see the drift scene? Last year I went to Australia, the USA, and Ireland, if that counts. And there you go, Yokoi with a 94.1. Yeah, well-earned score. Nice entry speed to 82.1, a little bit higher than most other people, barely cracking 80. All right, here we go. The drifter who lived. Daigo Saito did not qualify in the first qualifying session, but luckily to him, because it rained, they're redoing Group A, so everyone has to drive in the rain, and it's his last chance. Also another driver who could stand to go for a bit of a higher qualifying position. Carmack T&E, Takahiro Ueno. The next driver, Hideyuki Fujino, former D1 Grand Prix Grand Champion. And last driver, Hiroki, what did I sound American just there? Hiroki Kano in the S15 Silvia. Bit of a crash yesterday up against the wall. They fixed it. It wasn't too bad of a damage to the car. It was just mostly suspension, it looked like.
Sa ここから斉藤大吾、上野貴弘、藤野秀幸、加納弘樹がどこまで、入ってくるか。現在トップは横井です。
Alexi come to Brazil. I sort of got half invited one time, but it didn't end up happening. I'll go. Someone bring me over. All right, here we go, Daigo Saito. Last chance for a top 16 here today. Initial qualifying session, DNQ. But Group A has been redone now in the wet. Yeah, and stream is getting a little bit choppy. I'm aware of that. I'll let them know. A big wide stance of the Supra. Possibly one of the more forgiving cars to drive in wet conditions. There we go, Daigo, a 93.7 for his score, second in this group. So remember, because the groups are all split up due to rain, it's the top 4 drivers in each group separately, not the top 16 overall. It's just a system that they use in order to make sure that when the weather conditions change, that everybody gets the most fair qualifying run we possibly can. Our next round, Takahiro Ueno. That car looks heavy. Heavy in these wet conditions. There is a sweet spot between the two when you have a heavy car like this and a super lightweight car in the wet like Mad Mike's RX-3 wagon. There is a nice balance where you can just get enough weight to get traction, but not too much weight that you can't slow the car down or turn it fast. I think Ueno's Lexus is on that far side of the spectrum there, where it's a bit hard to rotate. Hey, James, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Second run now, Fujino. Is everyone running the same? Is everyone using the same tires? Says chat. No, we have several tire manufacturers. One of which is, of course, Toyo Tires here on Fujino's GR86 with a 2JZ.
じゃないですよね。
ここはちょっと攻めて
おかないと。さあそういう中でこの藤野秀樹まず1本目、さあフィニッシュラインを通過をしていきました。いやこれまず点数を決めていきたいところですが、リプレイご覧いただきます。さあ熊久保さん、
ここ結構ね、
藤野の走りどうでしょう。
はい、1セクをちょっと頑張りましたよね。
All right, first sector making a big effort. Hits that zone just fine, holds that angle all the way around. The DOS will like that. There's a score there of 93.5, puts him in third place in this group, just barely. So it's the top 4 of each group.
昨日壁へのクラッシュがありました。見事に復活をしていきます。でも本当に何もなかったように綺麗に治ってますね。
治ってますね。
さあ加納弘樹、気を取り直しての1本目。
All right.
ここはアウト側も
Hiroki Kano on the S15 Sylvia.
さあ小さく取っていったので速度的にはありそう。あります。はい。
Using the accelerator a lot there.
そして躍動感、角度をつけてきましたね。
ちょっとなんかギクシャク感があるようには見えるんですけど、なんかそのボスの要所要所はついてるような感じがします。
Chat said, how do they seed the pairs for the top 16 from the 4 groups? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that. When they have these split groups, I don't know. That's a good question. I think because we're rerunning group, this is just conjecture. I will find out because that's a very good question. Because normally it's just top score, 16th place score, there's your top 16. I don't know how they do that. I know I will find out.
高いですね。高いですね。さあ斉藤大吾、斉藤大吾2番手ですからもう通過はほぼ確定です。さあ斉藤大吾どうでしょうか。
ちょっと攻めてくる。はい。
Alright, second run, Daigo Saito. Is he going to go all Daigo on his second run? Not so much on the entry there. Yeah, this car looks... it's that type of chassis, the A90, where it's very stable on acceleration when the car is sitting on the back tyres, and kind of unstable when you're off accelerator and the weight goes onto the front tyres. That can be a good and a bad thing depending on what situation you're in.
さあまずはここちょっとまっすぐ進んでしまいます。リアができなかった。そしてクリップ、アウトクリップはきれいに取っていきます。インクリップも取っていきます。そしてこの次ですね。熊久保さんのおっしゃる通りアクセルを抜いて飛ばした瞬間です。
Hey Ty, how's it going, mate? Good to see you in chat.
76点、これは失敗。
And Daigo, that's going to go back to his first run score there. Still in second place. Yeah, the way these cars are is, the way you can think about it, I don't want to do a video game comparison, but it's probably the best way. Each of these cars are like their video game build. You know, they've put points into various areas, and you know, you have some cars that are like, you know, heavy class or tank class, and then like middle and then light, and you can kind of like tune them in a certain direction. And some chassis are good in some ways and bad in others, and they have pluses and minuses, and it just all comes down to what you want to do. Probably the overall, like the most middle build is S15 2JZ. And then you have cars like at the edge, like min-max cars like Daigo's, where it's like it works really good when he's on accelerator, but off accelerator it gets kind of unstable and difficult to drive. It's a way to think about it. Also, there's there's the charisma, which is just the driver's style and personality.
さあただ上野としては当然しっかりと組み立ててきました。本当にちょっとのことで点数を上げていく、それぐらいシビアな、この A グループになってきます。さあ点数91点、これは伸びない。残念。
And the 91 for Ueno.
さあ続いて
Not enough to qualify, I don't think so there. Puts him in 7th place overall after 2 runs. Second run, Hideyuki Fujino. First run, nice and stable. Fujino used to be a lot more aggressive back in the day. He used to be quite aggressive with his driving, but he's kind of rounded that out recently, which means he's a little bit more consistent now compared to how he used to be. Of course, reigning champion from the 2023 season. It's the thing about drifting. It's cool to do big, flashy runs, but over an entire season, it is consistency that will get you the win overall. And he's currently in third in this group. All right, last run in qualifying. Kano. Second run.
さっきちょっと減速気味の逆振りから入ったんですけど。
Oh, a little bit too much there. Going to be a half spin. Kano.
ただまあ勝負に来た結果ですね。
そうですね。
はい。自分の多分できる範囲の中でやってももう点数は伸びないということで。
Whatever, I think that is qualifying that's run and done. Now, let me tell you about what's going to happen after this. So the time here right now is 1:22 in the afternoon. And we will be starting, I mean, according to the schedule, I don't know if they're going to change it or not. We're running kind of late. We might find out. We're meant to start at 2 o'clock, which is like on the next hour, wherever you are. Okay, so here we go. This is the qualifying from all four groups. Alright, so even though they split up the groups, I think the qualifying drivers, I will find out exactly how they seed it because I'm not sure. Just going to take a quick photo of the screen so I can figure that out later. I will let you know when we get to the top 16. So, we don't run a top 32 in D1 Grand Prix, it's a top 16. The current schedule is that it's meant to start at 2 o'clock. It's currently 1:20 here, so that's like another 40 minutes. I'm not sure if it will or not. It probably will. We think we have enough time.
やっぱりね、最初の予想通り、ある程度その経験豊富なドライバーが残ったって感じですよね。路面に対応できたドライバーが残ったって感じだと思います。
The chat said who lost their position. I should have tried to figure that out. I'm sure someone did. But probably someone in Group A for sure, because now Daigo is in the top 4. Alright, so what's going to happen now? So for those of you watching on the Noriaro channel, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We're just doing a little bit of a different thing here for the stream. The option, so not option, the D1 guys wanted to try running it. Yesterday we ran the top 16 on my channel. Today they said, I just came in, that's why the thumbnail is wrong. I came in this morning and said, oh, can you do the qualifying? And I was like, okay. So that's why we're doing this. But we're not going to be running the top 16 on this channel. We're going to be running it on the option channel, which is also currently live. So what you can do, there's a few options that you have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in chat for the English one. And then end this stream. So let me put it in chat. Unpin that. Okay, watch. This keyboard is tiny. Watch top 16 battles here. And then I do that. And then I do that. And then I do that. And then I do
公開 URL はこのライブ配信の概要欄に貼ってありますので、そちらもぜひチェックをしてください。さあ、というわけで、久保さん。
Oh, the little emoji thing is getting in the way. Okay, pin.
で、この後の追走開始ですが、14時予定と。
もう30分後じゃないですか。
本当ですね。
Oh, I pinned the wrong one.
ご覧になってる皆さんも今のうちトイレ行って、
そうですね。
はい、準備をして、
I pinned the wrong one.
はい、というわけで追走
I'm on a little laptop, but it's not mine.
またその時間にお会いいたしましょう。
So, well, to answer that pin, yes, we'll do the top 16. So there's the link. Whoa. Sorry about that. There's the link there. Okay. So this stream is continuing to run the whole time. So what you should do is click on that link, open it in another window, and then you'll be able to watch the top 16. So we're ending the stream. It was only going to be qualifying here on the Noriero channel. We'll be back on the main video option channel alongside the Japanese stream. But that link in chat is the link to the English stream. So we'll be back. I think we're still running on time. Let me just check. 1 second. Let me run next door and 1 second. Okay, we are indeed running on schedule. So the time here now, 1:27. We're coming back at 2 o'clock, so that's just over half an hour from now, is when we'll be starting the top 16 here at D1 Grand Prix. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you all over on the other stream, I hope, for the top 16 of D1 Grand Prix Round 2 at Okuibuki. Once again, thank you so much for watching on the Noriero channel for those of you over there, or over here. I'll see you back on, and to all the people in the option channel, we're all going to come over there and see you very soon. All right, everyone. Thanks again. Got to press the button. Where's the button? Oh, there's the button. Big red button. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. See you on the other stream. It's on the pin. Look at the pin. That's the link to the video over there. All right, going to press the button. Bye. Thanks for watching. See you on the other stream. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still streaming on the other one, aren't I?